when the season started, we had questions about the durability of the veterans, and their durability has been strong to the halfway point of the season. There were questions about the bullpen, and after a slow, struggling start, the youthful additions have taken the mounds and have delivered, backed by the closer who promised success from the pen. Finally, the offense would need to take steps forward for the Phillies' success. We've reached the official midway point of the season, and the bats are still a very large hole in the plan. If at first you don't succeed, you try again. That's what the Phillies are going to look for in the second half of the season. As we reach the midway point of the 2014 year, the Phillies get set to wrap up this four-game series against the Atlanta Braves. 81 games in, 81 games to go. The Braves are in first place. The Braves and the Nationals won a doubleheader yesterday. Meanwhile, the Phillies 7 games back in the National League East. Hi, everybody. I'm Tom McCarthy, joined by Matt Stairs and Mike Schmidt. Sundays with Schmidt here at the ballpark. It's a gorgeous day, great giveaway, and now we begin the second half of the season.
Yeah, we do, and we're 7 games out, which is a good thing. We could be in another division, be 15 games out. It left a lot to be desired, the first half. I think everybody would agree with me. Defense, mediocre. Pitching, okay, but the offense left a lot to be desired, for sure.
All right, Matt, so you saw a lot of these games, too. I mean, what were your thoughts on the first half?
Well, I think it's inconsistency. They're going out there and not playing very good defense, struggling offensively, striking out in big situations, trying to do too much. But I would like to see the strikeouts cut down and more power numbers.
All right, so we look at the offense, Mike. The first half numbers that you find the Phillies really struggling, as Matt said, to find some consistency.
For sure. Numbers don't lie. If you look at the on-base percentages of the first 5 hitters, they're quite low. What our highest batting average on the team is in the 290s. Chase Utley. After that, it kind of goes downhill. Even though Ryan Howard and Marlon Byrd, if you project them out the rest of the season, could have respectable years, close to 100 RBIs. Both are on track for over 200 strikeouts, and that's not good. The strikeout ratio on the team is like 21%. Mm-hmm. These are all things that I'm saying that aren't conducive to good offense, and we need to turn a lot of that totally around, because we have to win 54 out of 81 to get to 90 wins.
And 90 wins may win the National League East, or at least get the Phillies or any team into the postseason. All right, how about pitching, Matt?
Well, I think when we looked in spring training, we were excited what we saw, the young arms, the power arms. Early in the season, the starters weren't going so deep in the game, and really the bullpen was, okay, who's up next? The phone was ringing every other second. But lately what's going on is the starting pitchers are going late in the game, and now all of a sudden the bullpen pitchers are having a certain role. And if it's going to be Diekman in the 7th, 8th, whatever it's going to be, Papelbon's set for the 9th. Very excited for the future, what's going on with these young guys, because these young the pitchers are coming up, throwing the ball extremely well, throwing strikes, and knowing that now if we get in a tight situation, we don't have to worry about the veterans coming in. We can use the younger guys to go out and shut the door. All
right, so the second half will officially begin here today.
I have one request. I haven't been here in a while.
Yes.
Can I have your autograph? Huh? Seriously.
We'll do it when we have a break. We'll do it when we have a break,
right,
Mike.
It
is the final game of this 4-game series. Aaron Haraga's 17th start. David Buchanan set to make his 8th start of the season for the Phillies. Well, one guy, as of late in yesterday's game number 1, that the Phillies have to keep in check is Tommy La Stella. He had a good game 1. He had an excellent game number 2. Lineups at first pitch from Citizens Bank Park when we return. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Toyota. Where will Toyota take you? Visit This 4-game series, David Buchanan's out on the mound, getting set to make the start for the Phils. So let's take a look at the Braves starting lineup. It's brought to you by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. Leading it off at center field, B.J. Upton. Ramiro Pena, the third baseman, bats second. Freddie Freeman hits third, followed by Justin Upton and Jason Hayward. Andrelton Simmons, the shortstop, bats sixth. In the bottom third of LaStella, Laird, and Harang. And they'll face Phillies right-hander David Buchanan. Buchanan 4-3 on the year with an earned run average of 4.79. So he's picked up victories in his last 3 ball games, and he hasn't gone deep into all of those games. But making his 8th start, he's done a nice job for the Phils. He's out allowing less than a hit per innings pitched. A lot of the home runs he's allowed, Matt, have been solo home runs, so that's been beneficial.
And it is. And what I'd like to see today is I'd like to see him stay in this area between 90 and 92 miles an hour with his fastball. I found his last game he topped out at 94 miles an hour. He was overthrowing, trying to do too much. Very good cutter, change, and curve. And you can see his last 2 starts, but I'd just like to see him back off with the fastball, concentrate on the location, and get back to being down the zone. And that is our Budweiser scouting report on David Buchanan.
Well, B.J. Upton will lead things off for Atlanta. Upton hitting .204, 7 home runs, 22 runs batted in. And he's 2 for 10 in the series so far. Phillies split 4 with the Miami Marlins. They've lost the first 3 to the Braves in the first pitch of the day. Down low, 1 ball, no strikes, so we're underway.
Good to be with you guys. Hoping for a much improved and fun second half of the season.
Absolutely.
Whether I'm at home listening to you or watching you or sitting here with you, either way.
Well, it's 1 ball and 1 strike to B.J. Upton, and he hits that one off the end of the bat. It's 1-2.
Made broadcasting be a lot easier in the second half.
Yeah, well, you know, I think what you guys both said just about consistency and playing fundamentally sound baseball, that goes a long way to having a successful first or second half of the year.
It really does. I mean, when you take that mound or take the field or even in the hitter's box, you just want to have that appropriate approach and stick with that. And don't try to go out of your elements too much. It's like me up here. I don't try to sound too smart. I stay with my elements. So just go out and enjoy the game, have fun, and don't put so much pressure on yourself.
That's my problem. I'm trying too hard up here.
Breaking ball and a call, strike 3. Well, that's a heck of a pitch right there. What away. Pretty good hook from David Buchanan. So Upton's down looking. That'll bring Ramiro Pena to the plate.
Well, that's a perfect curveball. Might have been a little bit up. I don't know what Upton was questioning about that pitch. I mean, nice pitch. He needs to foul that ball off. You know, close enough to call, close enough to swing at. Right? Isn't that what they say?
Absolutely.
Well, you always think with 2 strikes, you hit off the fastball and you try to battle with the off speed and hit it foul.
Ramiro Pena takes a strike. It's 0-1. I was trying to notice what kind of glasses Upton was wearing. You know, he's starting to wear glasses now, and he's got sunglasses on, but maybe they were prescription sunglasses. Pena has not played in this series so far for the Braves. 0 for 3 on the road trip. Inside, 1 ball and 1 strike.
You know what the defense likes about Buchanan? He works fast. He gets the ball. He has no fear. He's already ready to throw the next pitch. You know, he's standing there staring at the hitter. Get in the box. Let's go. Let's play baseball. And that's great for the defense. Keeps them on their toes. Keeps them ready.
And when he pitched in St. Louis, not this last start, but the start before, and he was pitching very well. The tempo of that game was just humming along.
He's almost Jim Cott like, you know. Game speed is. Remember old Jim Cott?
Oh yeah. He used to have less than 2 hour games, just over 2 hour games. Hit it if you can, boys.
Got to be somewhere at 4:30.
2 balls and 2 strikes to Pena. He'll be followed by Freddie Freeman. Out of play, and it remains 2 balls and 2 strikes. Early on, these yesterday's ball games were pretty tightly contested, but as the game moved on is when the Braves took the lead in both. Ground ball just past Buchanan. Utley is there. 2 outs. Time now for the Nissan keys to today's ball game.
Well, we're going to keep the Nissan key to the game simple, and the Phillies need to show more energy second half.
That is simple, and I echo Matty's sentiments. Keep it simple and more emotion, but what you need to do to have that happen is you need to be hanging out some line drives with men in scoring position.
Oh, yeah.
So you can pat some butts, and that'll bring out the emotion. Better hitting.
Talking to Steve Henderson today, the Phillies hitting coach, he was sort of lamenting just that, just the runners in scoring position, getting a runner home from third with less than 2 outs. Phillies are above the percentage, which I think is 51%, and he said that's just too low. 51%, the league average.
I don't want to talk over your boy hitting here, but
my boy. There's a grounder up the middle, base hit for my boy. A 2-out single.
Not that we're rooting for him, but again, that. I'm just gonna bring it up one time. That was one of the greatest things I've ever seen in my baseball life, and I was just watching on TV. Oh, we're not going to show it again, are we? Okay, watch him not watch it into his glove.
I did glance away for a moment.
I think that the funniest picture I have seen was that catch side by Cliff Lee's World Series
Saw
catch.
that one. Saw that
nice
one.
and relaxed catch. So it was.
See, Cliff wasn't totally looking at the ball when he caught that ball in the World Series against the Yankees.
Well, Cliff can do it without looking at it.
Cliff was thinking about dropping.
You need to watch it into your glove.
It would be safe for everybody if I watched it into my glove. There is one photo. There's one still photo that Miles Kennedy, Phillies chief photographer, has where it does have me looking, but it must be just a split second where I was watching it all the way in.
All right, enough. Back to the game.
1 ball and no strikes to Justin Upton. And he takes inside. It's 2-0.
I got to get your autograph now, don't forget.
I got to get that, yeah. Although the placard says no autographs. Justin Upton hitting .281, 16 home runs, 46 runs batted in. Inside again, 3-0.
These two guys are a tough stretch for our pitching staff. I mean, Freddie Freeman's killing us for a couple years, and Upton's a formidable cleanup hitter. It's tough 2 guys, and it's nice nobody's on base when they come up. Maybe that's the key: get the 1-2 guys out.
Well, Freeman's now 6 for 12 in the series. Justin just said that's my bad. He did. He went turn around and was that's my bad.
I didn't mean to throw my bat.
Ted Barrett's the home plate umpire.
Yeah, he's saying, well, this next pitch is going to be my bad, too.
Yeah.
It's freaky, you do think about those things. When this guy's throwing his next pitch, there's no way he's going to give me a close pitch.
And
well, he did.
He did get it, yep. So ball 4, that puts runners on first and second. I think everybody does wonder about that as players, if you guys if you do think about that kind of stuff. And maybe back when you played, Mike, and Matt, at the beginning of your career might have been a little different, but you probably did think about that kind of stuff with umpires.
I absolutely did. I thought about a little bit of everything. I had pretty good rapport with umpires throughout my years. I don't know about Matt, but I did get thrown out of a game in 1973, but I would argue a little bit, but I never did show the umpire up, and a good rapport. I think it works out in the long run if you do as a hitter.
And I agree, and I think what it does is you go a certain way of questioning a call and not showing the umpire up, and they're willing to talk to you and discuss of how far I'm going to go with the strike zone, or how many inches off the corner of the plate am I going to give tonight. But when it comes down to it, then when you start questioning calls, then they start thinking, well, maybe I have to look at that a little harder, because Mike Schmidt or Matt Stairs or whoever it is hasn't given me a whole lot of grief throughout my career, and they've gone out the right way.
Exactly.
1 ball, 1 strike to Jason Hayward. Hayward 0 for his last 14. And overall hitting .247 with 8 home runs and 30 runs batted in.
I would say for every 1 bad call I got from an umpire on a strike call, probably got 10 go in my favor.
Cody Ashley, sunglasses on, puts it away. Side is retired. No runs, 1 hit, 2 men left here in the top of the first inning. Not a bad job by David Buchanan. Scoreless, so the Braves will go to the bottom of the first. Well, he's in much better shape than I am, so that's the one difference. On a warm day here at Citizens Bank Park, let's take a look at the Phil's starting lineup. It's brought to you by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. Leading it off at center field, Ben Revere. Jimmy Rollins will bat second, then Chase Utley and Ryan Howard. Marlon Byrd is in right field. He'll at fifth. Cody Ashley sixth. At the bottom third, Dominic Brown, Coy Hill, and David Buchanan. They'll face veteran right-hander Aaron Harang, 36 years old, out of San Diego, California originally. He's won 116 games during his big league career, and he's right at the 500 mark here in 2014.
Well, he's around the strike zone usually with every pitch. He's going to give you a good pitch to hit. And as you can see, the Budweiser scouting report, 87 to 91 mile an hour fastball, 5-pitch pitcher. But this pitch right here, the fastball, he uses majority of the time, around 70% of the time. Just make sure you get the ball up and keep that split finger or the slider up in the zone.
Well, Ben Revere will lead it off. Revere is one guy who's having a decent series as far as the batting average goes, but he's only scored 1 run during this series.
Well, here's a place to start for the Phillies offense right here. The guy in the leadoff position, creating some havoc, getting on base, taking pitches, long at-bats, stealing bases.
He has 23 stolen bases, which is 1 more than last year already. Missed most of the second half of the season with that foot injury. There's Rollins on deck. And it's 2 balls and 1 strike to Ben Revere.
We know the formula. We saw it on the road when they won five in a row. Score early. There you go.
An infield hit. Pena probably could have let that ball go foul.
Without question. Without question. You have no chance at first. Why not just let it come down? Maybe it'll come down on the seam of the grass in the dirt, kick foul. That's a break for the Phillies.
I personally thought it was a great play by Pena.
What do you know about third base? Don't try to be too smart now.
No, that's why I'm glad he fielded it.
Oh, I hear you. You're rooting for the Phillies, huh?
Rooting for good, crisp, clean baseball.
We talk about not trying to do too much. Well, I think he tried to do too much on that play right there.
Yeah, he was explaining to Harang something about the spin. Maybe he saw something that we couldn't see up here. Here's Jimmy Rollins. Rollins takes a strike. It's 0-1. Rollins 0 for 8 so far in this series. He didn't play in the first game of yesterday's day-night doubleheader.
Talked to Chase for a long time in the batting cage earlier this morning. We were talking about Harang and said, on TV he looks like kind of pitcher I used to face. Pretty basic, sinker slider. I know it's not technically sinker slider pitcher like in the old days, but kind of basic stuff. Not 95 to 98, throwing hard with a nasty curve just around the plate, like Matt said, and he'll give you something to hit. Did
he agree with that?
Oh, absolutely. I don't know, Matt. How would you, in 2 or 3 words, describe Harang? Pretty normal. Nice day at the plate, especially for you left-handers, right?
It's a comfortable at bat.
Right.
1 ball, 1 strike to Rollins with Revere at first. And Rollins pops it up foul out of play. It's 1-2.
Yeah.
A lot of times those at-bats potentially, are the most disappointing.
It can be a nightmare.
That's right. When you go into a game against the guy that's comfortable, then disciplining yourself to hit the ball hard takes a little extra. You got to use the opposite field, the center of the field, wait on your pitch. You can't just go fastball hunting early in the count.
The Phillies had success against him last time they faced him in Atlanta. That was the day game, the final game of that series, when Roberto Hernandez struggled, but the Phils hit enough to go right past his struggles. Wide hole on the right side with Revere leading off. And Rollins is down on strikes. What away. Well, that was a 74-mile-an-hour curveball that Rollins swung over.
Well, Aaron Harang has tremendous stuff, and that's what he does. He knows how to throw in that big curveball. As you can see, the current weather conditions, 87, partly cloudy, and a perfect day to win a ball game.
Brought to you by Oliver Heating and Cooling.
I find that to be not smart pitching. I know he got away with it and struck him out, but there's a 30 yards between the first baseman and where the second baseman's playing, and he's just flopping that curveball in there. It's a little ground ball over there. It's a base hit.
Well, here's Utley. He takes low and in. 1 ball and no strikes. Now Revere seems to be having, whether it be, as Matt, you told me before, a lower back problem or hamstring problem, so he hasn't taken off just yet. But he has 23 stolen bases.
Well, I was watching yesterday, and during the Fox game, I heard you guys talking, you and Mark DeRosa, and issues with hamstring, whatever. It looked like the lower back to me. He was stretching it quite a bit. Played a lot of baseball, got a lot of hits. He's been on base a lot, so.
I may be wrong, but I'm just looking at him over there right now. We get a shot of him, and he surely doesn't look like a guy that's getting ready to take off. Does he?
He looks like he's grabbing the back of his leg as he's taking that lead.
Either that or he's sort of decoying the opposition, but he doesn't look like a guy that's in the base stealing mode.
There he goes.
Thank you.
Pitch is taken for a strike. The throw to second in plenty of time. 2-6 on the putout. Right there is where he's kind of rubbing the back of his leg. I don't think he's been thrown out by this wide a margin in a while.
Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It doesn't look like he's got a real aggressive lead. And Matty, what is it? 1-2, 1-3. What's the number in the major leagues today? Fans would be interested in that. There's a combination of numbers between the catcher's release and the pitcher's delivery that tells the coach at first base. That's why you see Sammy with the stopwatch, that you can steal this base, right?
Yeah, and I think it varies. I mean, some pitchers are quicker. Well, the under two was good. Anything? I don't know. I'll tell you, Charlie, I never stole bases, so I.
Well, I never did it with these numbers, but I mean, I know that they time the pitcher's last pitch to the catcher, and the catcher throwing to second, right, and they get like a number is 3-3 or whatever. Like, so they have the number that this guy is at, and it tells just about everybody on the team whether they can steal the base or not.
And Harang, to me, is someone who's a little slower to the plate, even from the stretch, as Utley's down looking on what looked like to be a high curveball. And the side is retired. So the Phillies do get a hit, but they don't leave anybody. One caught stealing. We'll go to the second, a scoreless game. Washington Nationals. They'll start a 3-game series. Saturday is the Fanatic Beach Towel Free Defense 14 and under, brought to you by SEPTA. And then Sunday is that giveaway right there, the Pennsylvania Auto Theft Prevention Authority Tumbler, which is free to fans 15 and older. Order your tickets now by going to Phillies.com. Top of the second, Andrelton Simmons will lead it off for the Braves. 248 hitter, 5 home runs, 22 runs batted in. Takes a strike. It's 0-1.
He's a good-looking player, and touting him as the best defensive shortstop right now in the National League. And the on-deck batter, LaStella, who's been with him for a short time. I'm very impressed with him. We're going to have to deal with these two guys for a long time here. LaStella and Simmons.
Well, it looks like they will be the double play combination for the Braves for the foreseeable future. I told the story the other day that Simmons, when he was signed or drafted, he was a 95-mile-an-hour pitcher. They decided to give him a shot at shortstop just to see if it worked for a little bit, and if it didn't, they would put him back on the mound. And then a couple years later, he's in the big leagues.
One thing I've noticed in a short career so far with Simmons, he hits too many fly balls, I think. And it's fine if you're going to drive the ball to left center, right center, but he has a lot of pitches where he pops up in the infield, and we've seen it so far this series.
That disease is going around.
Yeah, good point.
It is true.
Point well taken.
2 balls, 2 strikes to Simmons, and a called strike 3. Got it on the inside corner. Second strikeout for Buchanan. Simmons is the 3rd toughest player to strike out in the National League, and Buchanan just got him looking.
That's the old comeback over the inside corner fastball. Cutter, fastball, I'm not sure, but good pitch. Now, does LaStella's presence mean that we may see the Braves jettison Dan Uggla?
Well, there has been talk about that, but he's owed 1 more year of a contract, and it's a substantial amount of money. So they could let him go, but they'd have to pay him. Now, whether they could trade him or not is another story. But he is relegated basically to a bench player. Tapper foul. It's 1-1. I was talking to Freddie Gonzalez the other day, and he said Uggla has been great through the whole thing. He does want to play. He does want to move on. But he has been good through this whole thing, and no player really understands it, but he's handled it well. Hit a lot of home runs for a long period of time.
To me, he's a kind of a throwback hitter, one of those sort of, big, long uppercut swing, hit it a mile guys. He's got a pretty good eye, but his production has been ridiculously low the last couple of years.
3 balls, 1 strike to LaStella. 5 for 26 of this road trip, but 3 of the hits have come in the last 13 innings. Swing and a miss, 3-2.
Matt, you got to like this guy's stroke. He's got a nice tempo to his swing. I know you like the whole idea of being through the ball as long as you can be through it. Noticed a couple of his swings in slow-mo, been beautiful. Nice quiet stride.
But they said they're trying to figure out where to bat him. They have him obviously batting 7th here today. There's a thought that he could be a 2-hitter.
Yeah, he did hit 2 early in one of the earlier games, didn't he?
Mm-hmm. A quick meeting out on the mound, and now Gerald Laird. All right, so Matt said the other day that Gerald Laird is one of the best bunters in baseball as a catcher. So do you realize that he has the most bunt hits of anybody in baseball since 2007 or 2008, something like that?
You talking about bunt for base hit guy?
Bunt?
Yeah.
How about that for a catcher? 3rd is Rollins, shortstop.
Lost start.
And the reason why I know is I've played against him for many years. Same team in Texas, and he does the sneak attack. He actually tried yesterday and fouled it off. But like you said, it's you don't see it anymore. You don't see.
Saw it all the time.
It's almost like they're swallowing their pride. They think they can hit every ball in the ballpark. If you're not swinging well, why not get a bunt down instead of rally? And one, it helps your average out.
1 ball and 2 strikes to Laird.
Well, it's an 8-hole hitter. You got to pick your spots
right.
For that particular play, leading off an inning or a couple men on, no outs. Maybe if there were no outs now, it might be a good play. I don't think it. In this particular, even the third, Ashley's playing him way back. I don't think it's a good play now.
I don't either.
Inside, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Pitchers on deck, Aaron Harang. And he stays alive by getting a piece of it. Buchanan so far has struck out 2. He's walked 2. Braves have just the 1 hit. That was the single by Freeman in the first. Swing and a miss. 3 strikeouts. .91 miles an hour on that cutter.
Got one next to me.
My mom and dad are here today. Oh. The guy on the right did teach me how to catch. The lady on the left just did that. She clapped a lot when we were kids, and drove a lot. Drove us everywhere. Harang hits one back toward the middle, a base hit. Stopping at second is LaStella. That was a cutter that was just left up in the zone.
Well, the guys are athletes. I mean, pitchers can hit. Throw them a fastball. They're looking for it. They swing the bat. Boom. They hit the ball. Every now and then it happens.
It doesn't hurt either when a cutter's right down the middle of the plate up in the zone. But I'll agree to a certain degree. They can hit once in a while.
They can't hit if the pitcher wants to get them out.
Thank you.
Here's B.J. Upton. He struck out looking his first time up. Upton 0 for 1. By the way, for Harang, his second hit of the season. Fly ball to straightaway center. Revere's all turned around out toward the track. He reaches up and it's off his glove. 2 runs will score. Upton on his way to third, and he's going to get there. Ben Revere got all turned around out in the outfield, and that's going to wind up being, I believe, a triple for B.J. Upton, and it's 2-zip Atlanta.
I'm going to let the outfielder handle this one.
Thanks.
Well, Ben, I think he's bothered by something, as we mentioned.
Well, we always talked about the hardest ball for an outfielder to go back on is the one that's hit right over your head, and it's usually the turn right or left, whatever's your easiest way to turn. Now that's a very difficult play because he's playing pretty shallow. Now is it a makeable catch? It's going to be a very, very high catch of the year if he does, especially where he's playing shallow.
I would say the catch is very makeable only if his first move is straight back.
Correct.
Right. I mean, if it's a straight sprint back and he reads it off the bat as being a well hit ball as opposed to a pop up. I've never been out there in a game. You have. So you got to read the ball, and if you don't read it right away, then you got to wait and find it. You go, whoa, this one's over my head, and you take off. You got a chance of not catching it.
Yeah, because it seemed like if he had reacted and had gone back, he probably wouldn't have even had made the sort of Willie Mays style attempts, which we've seen him make before, that he could have gone back sort of backhanding it. 3-0 now to Ramiro Pena. So the Braves have the early lead. They scored a triple for B.J. Upton. It's his 4th of the year. 24 RBIs. Well, the hit by the pitcher certainly didn't help the cause.
Well, you got to come back and get this hitter right here because you don't want to mess with Freddie Freeman.
B.J. Upton now has hit in 6 consecutive games. Outside, ball 4. Second walk of the inning, 3rd walk overall. And the Phillies do have to deal with Freddie Freeman with runners on 1st and 3rd.
Freddie Freeman is a hitter that you ought to be able to scout. I mean, you ought to be able to get a game plan to him because he's a very aggressive hitter. You know, he hits early in the count. He's ready to swing his bat. You know, you don't ever see him take the first pitch. He's ready to fire as soon as he walks in there, which should make him vulnerable.
Swing and a miss. Now vulnerable to certain pitches or pitches like that where you tie him up a little bit.
Just vulnerable. He should be. I mean, he's looking to ambush something early in the count that's hard. Now, I know it's early in the ball game, but I'd be very careful with him right here. Very careful, even for men loading the bases.
A little high, 1 ball and 1 strike. Justin Upton is the on-deck hitter for the Braves.
I always find it funny in at bats like this with a hot hitter like Freeman, lefty versus righty pitcher. If that runner would take off and steal second, Tommy, they might walk Freddie Freeman. But if there's a guy standing on first, they won't.
That's pretty interesting. You know, you think about it because there's still a base open. It's just in the middle of the diamond.
Right.
1 ball, 2 strikes.
And I have respect, don't get me wrong, for Justin Upton. But I'd rather face Justin Upton with a new count on me than I would Freddie Freeman in this at bat.
Swing and a miss. He got him.
So much for what I know.
The thought, though, that there's still an open base, sometimes you don't realize that. It's 2-0 Braves and a ball off the glove of Revere as we go to the bottom of the 2nd. To try to get these runs back with the middle of the order, Howard, Bird, and Ashe. This is the reason why this is what Ben Revere was doing as he was sitting down on the bench between innings after the play in center field. This could be why he's been struggling so much with the legs. You can see him talking to Scott Sheridan right now. And he eventually goes down the stairs into the clubhouse. I don't know if that's why he got all turned around out in center field, but he certainly does not look comfortable. So Ryan Howard will lead things off. It'll be Howard, Bird, and Ashe. Matt, you were watching that replay again in between innings. What did you take from watching it a second time?
Well, the initial first step, he got turned around the opposite direction. He opened up to his left, didn't realize it was over his right shoulder. By the time he had to make the adjustment, the ball was pretty much on top of him, and that's when he turned and went after it. So if you see his first initial move was that left foot step back, then he has to basically turn his whole body open and go straight back. Where if he turns the way he feels comfortable with, and when he opened up his left side, he should have stayed that way and broke, because outfielders are taught as you're going back, you can take your eye off the ball and make the adjustment.
Well, he's back in the dugout, as you just saw. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Ryan Howard. Howard 1 for 11 in the series right now against the Braves. 14 home runs, 51 runs batted in. Now ball right side. Tommy La Stella in shallow right field. 1 out. Marlon Byrd's coming up. Time to welcome in Greg Murphy. Murph.
All right, thanks a lot, guys. Well, as you mentioned at the top of the broadcast, 81 games in the books, a pretty good time to kind of look back at the first half and see what is going right and wrong. And when you talk about the Phillies, you talk about the big three and what they've been able to do. Take a look at their numbers from last year. At this point last year, the Phillies were 3 games under 500. There you see it, the batting average of 270, the power numbers down as compared to 2014. So, more runs being produced by the big three this year, but the win total not the same, 9 games under 500. And guys, I guess what that tells you is that the supporting cast is not helping out these three as much as they did a year ago. You think back to the May of last year and the month that Don Brown had and some other guys. So, the win total not there, as I mentioned, 9 games under 500, but the big three doing just about what they did a year ago.
It's interesting numbers. I mean, Marlon Byrd's done a good job this year. Strikeouts might be up, but he's done a fine job of 265, 13, and 46 at the halfway point. I'd take that. I mean, that's having a solid year. And just think if the strikeouts could be cut down a little bit more, the numbers would jump up even higher.
I think that's what both of you guys had said. Those numbers that Murph talked about, they are better this year for the big three, but if, let's say, Ryan Howard didn't strike out 100 times, if it was less than that, or if Bird didn't strike out as many times as he has, maybe those numbers are even higher than they were than they are right now. Swing and a miss. It's 2-2. Bird is 7 for 25 on the homestand. He's had good numbers against Terang during his career. He's 7 for 17 against Terang. Out toward left center field. That's well hit. Upton going back. It is gone. A solo home run for Marlon Byrd. It's now a 2-1 ball game. His 14th home run of the year, RBI 47.
That was right out where you guys worked the other night.
Pretty close.
Almost to you again.
Section 148.
In fact, Jamie might have caught that one.
Or Matt would have climbed over to the table to try to get that one.
Good for Marlon Byrd. That ball was well hit. Straight away center field. Well, not straight away, but at least 420. Maybe that'll get us going.
Well, we never told you, but Michael Apert of Newtown, Pennsylvania, was our McDonald's home run jackpot participant, and Michael has now won $300 thanks to Marlon Byrd. So congratulations to Michael, our McDonald's home run jackpot winner. Cody Ashley pops one up foul. It's 0-2. Marlon, by the way, now with 47 RBIs, so he's within 4 of Ryan Howard's total, which is the team lead.
Well, we always talk about hitting mistakes, and that was a hanging curveball. And Marlon Byrd has been doing that all year. Mistake pitches taking advantage of that and driving to the ballpark.
Cody Ashley 0 for his last 12. It's been this Braves series where he's picked up those numbers. Now 0 for his last 13. Third strikeout for Harang. 2 outs here in the second.
You're talking about these numbers. Just kind of pondering your discussion about the numbers a second ago. Murph, Yeah, there are some strange numbers in baseball, but all in all, when you are not scoring more than you're giving up, you're going to be a losing team.
Plain and simple.
It can be close, very close, but on the average over the course of the year, if your pitchers are allowing less than you're scoring, you should be fine. And there are just basic numbers, like Murph pointed out, that may be a little askew. I think it's got a lot to do with who you're playing, weather. There's a lot of elements involved, a lot of other elements involved in those numbers, but for the most part, there are a few that don't lie.
Well, and you talked about Phillies are giving up more runs than they're scoring over the first 81 games.
Right.
They started to creep their run differential closer to even on that road trip that we talked about, but that's sort of stretched out again. Dominic Brown with the base hit that brings Coy Hill to the plate. Hill was hitting 240 with 3 home runs down in the minor leagues. He was 1 for 3 in yesterday's first game of the day-night doubleheader. Outside, 1 ball and no strikes. Coy also scored a run in yesterday's game after reaching on his double. Chopper to the right side. And Freeman will flip to Simmons, covering second. Side is retired. 3-6 on the putout. Phillies do get a run back of the home run by Marlon Byrd. We played 2. On to the third. It's the Braves 2, Phillies 1. David Buchanan out there warming up right now. He'll get set to face Justin Upton, Jason Hayward, and Andrelton Simmons. Beteravere is back out there. Phillies will have a day off tomorrow, and for some guys, before we travel to Miami, for some guys, it's probably a much-needed day off. Buchanan waiting now for Upton to come to the plate. Some fans flew over 7,000 miles. We want to be like Tom. Well, I do hope that they get a chance to be out there. And contrary to some folks out there, if you have a glove, bring it, because it's going to really hurt your hand if you don't. Upton hitting .281, 16 home runs, 46 runs batted in. Pitch is up high, 1 ball and no strikes.
Maybe we should dub that play the Mick catch.
Maybe get some kind of Big Mac or something out of it. Yeah. Foul ball, 1 ball and 1 strike. Braves will have a game in hand over the Nationals after today. The Nationals are not playing today. Washington and Chicago had to play a doubleheader yesterday and did not play today. because there's a parade in Chicago, and the aldermen in that Wrigley area felt like there'd be too many people. And it would be better to have today off, so we requested that through baseball. So when we give the scores as the game moves on, we will not give a Cubs-Washington Nationals score because they played 2 yesterday.
I don't know what I'd have done with a Sunday off.
I was going to say, it
for 18 years in the summertime.
Must be the strangest thing in the world for the
What
players.
do you do? Have a picnic?
You could have a picnic.
You go to you go to the shore or something?
You could go to the shore. Two perfect choices.
Are you kidding me? I wouldn't know what to do.
Maybe go out on a boat.
If you had one.
If you had a boat. There remains 1 ball and 2 strikes. During the 2014 season, Turkey Hill, the official ice cream of the Phillies, will contribute $100 for each Phillies victory. 5 cents for each carton of Phillies Grand Slam ice cream, sold to support the Phillies youth baseball and softball programs. Ground ball toward the left side, under the glove of Ashe. Rollins' long throw. Oh, man. He is playing some excellent defense at shortstop this year. Ball may have even been slowed up by Ashe.
Yes, he is, and you know that sometimes the third baseman needs to have a sense of where the shortstop's playing. And dive for that ball, I guess, all fine and good. It's aggressive defense. I've seen the ball tip off the third baseman's glove, you know, more often than not on that play. It's like the pitcher leaving the ball go when it's hit up the middle, you know, when middle infielders can get it, but if it tips off his glove and lays there, it ends up a base hit.
All right, so when you and Bo were playing on the left side, did Bo say, I got it? Did he say something to you?
Well, not on a ball like that. But I would look over there and see that he was shading him a little bit in the hole, and you know, a ball to my left I know he can handle. Plus, I didn't like to get my uniform dirty.
He didn't mind.
Some people have said that, you know.
They don't say that anymore. 2 balls and no strikes to Hayward.
I mean, I dive at home, but not on the road because it was dirt.
It was softer on the road. Once you got past the cutout at third, it was all over. Out of play, and it's 3-1. I thought maybe the ball had touched Ashe's glove, but it did not. It went under. 3 balls, 1 strike.
Matty's living right where you told him to live, 92. And on the inside corner and outside corner, throwing good.
Okay, Matt, you said something the other day that he may have been throwing his fastball too hard because he may have been overthrowing it.
Well, and I think you just look at where majority of his pitches were. That's a tremendous fastball inside. It wasn't a cut fastball. It was a 4-seam fastball inside. And when he was overthrown at 94, topped out at 95, he was pulling the fastball, and that's why he was missing the majority of the time inside the left-handers. But here, tremendous pitch inside, doesn't allow him to get his hands extended. And about, I don't know how much baseball bats are nowadays, but about $160 or $107 down the drain.
You know so much about pitching, it's unbelievable. I got to ask you a question. I mean, is it like hitting, where if you let the ball go where you want it to go rather than forcing it to go where you want it to go, it's more apt to be livelier and faster?
Well, I will answer that question next. Well, you know what? Answer your question real quick. Yes, I think it is. Less is
one
more.
word answers.
Less is more.
We'll get into it when we return. Bottom of the third, Braves 2, Phillies 1. Put your spot due up when we come back. Phillies.com. Go to the fan section for all the information, and please submit your answer on the subject line. All right, the question is, who are the 3 Braves third basemen to win the National League MVP award? That's a tough question. The 3 Braves third basemen to win the National League MVP award. We'll get that answer in just a little bit. David Buchanan will lead it off. First pitch is low. After I said that, the third answer is the one that's the tough one. I think. They've had some very good third basemen. Fly ball down the right field line. Hayward on the run, and he'll get there. Makes the catch at fair territory. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Thomas Jefferson University Hospitals. Call 1-800-JEF now for an appointment. By Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. And by Toyota. Where will Toyota take you? Visit buyatoyota.com to find out. Toyota, let's go places. Hello with Mike Schmidt, Matt Stairs, Greg Murphy. I'm Tom McCarthy. We are here at Citizens Bank Park. Little day baseball. Ben Revere will be the batter. Phillies trail at 2-1. Rothman Institute will sponsor today's giveaway. It's the Dominic Brown jersey. What kid wouldn't want a jersey when they come to the ballpark?
I don't know. Everybody wears one.
They do.
I tell you, I get a kick out of seeing people in my jersey.
Do you?
Just so they know that. I want to tell them that. Makes me feel good.
That one shot the other way. A base hit for Revere, his second hit of the day. So he's aboard. I think I saw somebody 2 years ago with your first jersey. Not the number 20.
22.
22.
I don't know where they got that one. Well, that's a pretty good find there. There you go.
Now, when it really gets classic is when they have the one with the zipper instead of the buttons. That's classic. Must have been painful to dive though with that zipper. Jimmy Rollins will be the batter. He struck out his last time up. Would you have worn a jersey if you were a kid? Like, was there a person that you would have worn?
Oh, probably. You know, obviously when I was a kid, that hadn't that, I call it fad, or that style, that way of going to a game, supporting your team. In fact, they didn't have access to things like that.
Absolutely.
Would have been Frank Robinson. Yeah.
Did you wear 20 because of Frank Robinson?
No. I wore 20 because Roger Freed got released. Remember Roger Freed?
Yeah.
I was 22 my first year, first spring training anyway, and then Roger Freed got released and they switched me to 20. So that's. But we got a nice club, us 20s. In fact, I saw one of them earlier today here. Don Sutton.
Wore 20 with the Dodgers. Yeah. What
Frank
about you,
Robinson.
Matt, would you? What jersey would have been a hockey jersey? You want to know?
No, actually, it probably would have been Carter Yastrzemski.
Really?
Yeah, big fan.
Lou Brock.
Lou Brock.
Lou Brock wore 20.
He was my base coach, base instructor in 1990 in spring training with the Expos. He brought us in and taught us how to do base running, the proper techniques, and great person.
Now, Lou Brock wore 20 with the Cardinals. Did he wear 20 with the Cubs too? I don't remember. I don't remember seeing pictures. The Cubs don't show that often because they know it was such a bad trade for them. No balls and one strike to Chase Utley. Utley struck out looking his first time up outside, 1-1.
You know, I'm kind of watching Ben Revere over here to see he's still kind of flexing his leg. I don't know how he feels about running, but it's funny when a guy gets thrown out, how early in the game you get thrown out stealing. Your sense for stealing kind of changes.
got a little bigger lead this time than he did last time. Utley sends it the other way. Upton on the run, back toward the track, to the wall. He jumps, and he makes the catch right at the top of the wall. The ball was coming down as he was going up, and the side is retired. No runs, one hit, one man left for the Phillies. And Justin Upton went back toward the wall and was able to pull that one right up just below the top of it to retire Chase Utley and take us to the fourth. $160 label makers provide a million reasons to organize that mess. Get yours now for just $9.99. Available June only from WB Mason. To the top of the fourth, it's 2-1 Braves. Tommy Listello, who walked his first time up, will lead it off for Atlanta against David Buchanan. Buchanan getting a chance to pitch against the team that he rooted for growing up, growing up outside Atlanta. We were at Atlanta last week. He was talking about the different spots of the stadium where he used to go to watch the Braves play. Out toward left. Dominic Brown going back toward the corner, and it's over his head, and it will skip to his right, and Listello with another extra base hit. It's his 6th double of the year. I think the fans think that ball should have been caught. Some boos for Dominic Brown. Ball's kind of slicing away from the outfielder.
That's right. When the left-hander hits the ball, I guess the outfielder has to know that it's going to have slice spin on it. The left fielder, anyway. I like this Stella kid. I don't want to beat that horse too much, but what I've seen so far, I see a kid with a stroke that could win a batting title someday.
He's from New Jersey.
Watch Gerald Laird, possible bunt.
Hits it the other way. Marlon Byrd over into the alley. It's going to go right past him and over to the scoreboard. Listello on his way home. He'll score. Laird's thinking 3. Then he puts the brakes on. And he'll stop at second. An RBI double, and it's 3-1 Braves on top.
Once again, I'm right on cue with my thoughts about Gerald Laird. Watch the bunt. We talked about it earlier in the game, and it would have been a good time, to advance the runner, and he caught the third baseman playing back. Boom, double.
Right out over the plate, too.
Well, and it's an easy pitch to drive to right field and doing your job and advancing the guy from second base. That situation, you kind of like to see that tough sinker inside to get him to roll over, or change up, something where you hit the third base or shortstop and not allow him to do his job.
Now Harang will bunt. Hill's got it. He's going to third. The throw is a one-hopper. Esche handles it and applies the tag. Desperate times call for desperate measures. The Phillies trying to get that guy out of scoring position, and they do.
That's good defensive play there. Esche picked up Coy Hill picking that ball out of the dirt and applying that tag, and that potentially could turn that inning totally around and keep this game in check. That's a big play right there defensively. Wow.
Well, now B.J. Upton with a runner at first, one man down. Upton is 1 for 2. He tripled home 2 runs his last time up. Outside, 1 ball and no strikes.
I think a lot of times with an automatic bunt situation with pitchers, runners at second base don't read the bunt well. They assume as soon as the ball is put down on the ground, they're taken off. And really, you're technically supposed to have a good secondary lead, get way off there. Once the bunt goes down, you kind of watch it where it goes and read it that way. But I've seen a lot of times in baseball where you just automatically go because the ball's put down and it's a forced play or a great play like Cody Ashley made at third base.
I think you're right on with that. The fact that you said that, guy gets the bunt down, I've always thought a runner's just going.
Now it's different, sorry, Tom. It's different first and second.
Sure.
But when a man on second base and none out,
don't go if you
exactly.
Yeah. Now it took a good play by Ashe, but if it was a good throw, he would have been out by a mile. 3-0 pitch to Upton. Swing and a miss, and it's 3-1. .71 pitches now for David Buchanan.
I don't know when the last time I saw a 210 leadoff hitter swinging at a 3-0 pitch, but we just did.
Ball 4 and Upton's aboard. Will that be a detriment to the Braves? Do you guys think that they don't have a bona fide leadoff hitter, a guy that they comfortably feel could be a leadoff hitter as they keep going through this division?
Well, I mean,
we're looking at each other here.
Yeah, I mean, every team would love to have the ideal person leading off who can bunt, base hit, get on base, whatever it is. But I don't think Hayward's the leadoff guy. I really don't, with his type of swing and his power.
You know, there are not a lot of really prototype leadoff hitters around. If you ask me, I mean, who is one? Juan Pierre. How many in his heyday? How many get 200 hits? Juan Pierre's are around.
Yep.
Nowadays.
Would you call Reyes a bona fide leadoff hitter for the Blue Jays? Or again, maybe
quite
close.
possibly, yeah. I mean, I don't know his on base percentage. It probably is not high 300s. I don't know. He's more of a Jimmy Rollins type hitter.
Pena lifts it to shallow center. Benavides froze for a moment, but he'll get to the spot. He makes the catch. 2 outs. Runners go back. On the Toyota Major League scoreboard, the A's are leading the Marlins 4-2. Nate Fryman, a home run, 3 RBIs.
We were just handed the Rays on base percentage. Is that a 319?
319. Whoa. See, I would not have thought it would be that low. Matt?
Yes. He hits. He's a free swinger. He doesn't walk a lot. He's a very aggressive hitter.
But Jimmy's is what, 328?
Jimmy's is higher than that, yep.
Prototype leadoff hitter is the Hit King. Our old teammate, my old teammate, yep. Pete Rose. 400 on base percentage, 200 hits, 300 batting average.
Well, here's Freeman, who comes up with a 384 on base percentage. He singled his first time up. He's 1 for 2. And it's no balls and 1 strike. Pete Rose finished with a 375 on base percentage for his career. But in his prime, it was obviously north of that. 375, though, for a guy that led off just about his entire career. Cannon trying to get through this fourth inning. He's allowed a run on a double by Gerald Laird. Inside 1-2.
How about this for a leadoff hitter? Since we're playing the Braves, Ralph Garr.
He was fast. He was fast. Now he went after the Braves. He went to the White Sox. Wasn't that where he played after that? Ooh.
Seemed like he was always hitting 360.
Somebody just said something to Ted Barrett. He just said the ball's out. Fly ball, right center field, playable for Bird or Revere. And Marlin will make the call, and he puts it away. Side is retired. A run on a double by Gerald Laird. Braves leave a couple. We'll go to the bottom of the fourth in a 3-1 ball game. Visit your local Delaware Valley Honda dealer. Shop Honda.com. Buy McDonald's. Any size hot or iced coffee is just $1. McDonald's. I'm loving it. And buy Chevrolet. Visit your local dealer at ChevyDealer.com. Bottom of the fourth, it'll be Ryan Howard, Marlon Byrd, and Cody Ashe. Ryan Howard grounded out his first time up. So he's 0 for 1, 0 for his last 7. Phillies down by 2. Braves scored 2 in the second. And they've added 1 here in the fourth inning.
You know, Tommy, in its simplest form, back to that discussion about on-base percentage, isn't it the idea to go to home plate and not make an out?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
No wonder I struggled at times.
No, excuse me, not making oot. Not making oot.
Well, but Matt was looking. I mean, your career on base percentage was 380, and you said to us during the break that your goal was 400.
That's right. A couple years it was. A couple years I got there. I mean, I felt. I mean, I got a lot of walks, as we said, because I mean, like Ryan Howard, it's really a lot of breaking stuff. They don't want you to, you know. You kind of stay away from the fastball, and if you're in control of your stroke, you're able to lay off of a lot of those pitches where they don't challenge you and take your base on balls, and that's in a perfect world, of course.
Swing and a miss, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Howard's career on base percentage is 358,
and it should be a lot higher. He swings out a lot of pitches. That the pitcher, it's a pitcher's pitch.
Well, he strikes out. 4th strikeout for Harang. Yeah, that'll bring Marlon Byrd up.
Yeah, yeah, I guess you could say good location. Probably could have been lower with 2 strikes. It's a pitch I'm sure that Ryan felt. You can see him there. He's a little bit ticked off, but should have hit. Should have at least fouled off. I think Matt would agree. In that at bat, maybe looked a little tired, a little lazy, threw the ball.
Marlon gets kind of the same pitch, but on the heart of the plate. It's 0-1. Well, 81-82. You had 435 was your on base percentage in 81, and 403 in 1982. Well, that toward right center field. Upton gliding back. No chance. That one is gone into the Phillies bullpen. 2 solo home runs today for Marlon Byrd. Somebody tracked that one down.
Okay, we have slightly to the left of the center field, dead center, and slightly to the right of dead center. And you can't hit 4 home runs in a game unless you hit 1 the first 2 times.
That's exactly right. Justin DeFreitas caught that one with a left-handed glove.
And that ball was a little bit up too. You know, Matt, he has a slight uppercut swing, and it's unusual for them to be able to handle the ball up like that, and he definitely handled it twice today.
15 home runs now, 48 runs batted in. It's the first multi-home run game for him since the June of last year at Washington, 7th of his career. Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, those are both legit. You know what I'm saying? Straightaway center field here is not small. Some of the other parts of the park are, but those balls are big-time home runs.
Out toward right field. Hayward going back toward the scoreboard and has room. Makes the catch. 2 outs. Just toward the end of the bat a little bit.
Well, probably because it wasn't really a high fly. You know what I mean? It wasn't squared up, but you got too far underneath it. He probably got it down a little bit.
Well, for the home runs that Marlon Byrd has hit today, 1 tree will be planted for each by the Pennsylvania Horticultural Society as part of Home Runs for Trees, a partnership between the Phillies, PHS, and Aramark. Home Runs for Trees is part of a project to restore the region's tree coverage. For more information, visit phillies.com/redgoesgreen. By the way, I don't know how difficult it was, but DeFreitas used the left-handed glove to make that catch. You know, he's a right-handed pitcher, and he used a left-handed glove. I don't know if we can.
We can't see it. It's behind the wall. You can see it. We can't see it. Not really. I'm saying you got a good angle.
Off the end of the bat, loop out to left. 2 hits now for Brown.
Dominic Brown needs to get hot. I would go out as far as to say he's one of the keys to the Phillies possibly getting back into where they're in contention for postseason play. I really think Dominic Brown's got to have a really good hot second half. One month's got to be player of the month. That ball was hit off the end, Matty.
It is, but it's actually his first at bat hit the base to right field. Now, 4 or 5 days ago with his old swing, that's going to be a ground ball to first base or a foul ball over the Atlanta Braves dugout. But I will agree with you 99.9% right now that he has to have an MVP month if these guys want to get back into it. Because what it does, it strengthens the lower part of your order.
Right.
And you don't have to rely on the 3, 4, 5 guys to do all the offense.
Well, with that said, and it's a good point about the bottom, 6 through 9 for the Phillies, 198 combined. I mean, you're counting the pitcher too, but 6 through 9, 198. That's last in Major League Baseball. Their on-base percentage is .263, which is 28th in Major League Baseball. Coy Hill fouls it away. It's no balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, there's nothing like a pitcher having to work to get people out all the way through the lineup, as opposed to you get by the the fourth or the fifth hitter, and it's fairly easy for him. They have to work all the way.
And you want them from 1 through 8, no breaks. They can't relax at all. And that's the winning teams.
There's a line drive base hit to left. Up to second goes Brown. Coy Hill, 1 for 2.
Well, that's good stuff. I mean, obviously there's 2 outs and the pitcher hitting with 2 men on base. Maybe the pitcher, like Harang, can come up with a base hit, but it clears the pitcher. Allows us to turn the lineup over. It's one of the 8-hole hitter's jobs is to get on base any way he can so that pitcher can hit with 2 outs and you don't have to start the inning off with the pitcher.
David Buchanan popped or flied out to right his first time up. He's still looking for his first major league hit. If he gets it here, he might get his first major league RBI. Tapper in front of the plate. And Laird throws him out. Side is retired. 2-3 on the putout. Phillies get another run back on a solo home run by Marlon Byrd. They leave a couple. This one, the last one went just to the left of center field. This one to the right of center field, and Justin DeFreitas was ready to make the catch. We'll go to the 5th. Top of the 5th inning here at Citizens Bank Park. Time now for our Geico quote of the day. It comes from Ryan Sandberg on the Phillies' struggles. We have to do things differently. We definitely have to have more opportunities to score runs, and we have to be more consistent with pitching and defense together. We could definitely sharpen up on playing clean baseball. Not only stress, but execute on situational things, and that's talking about the first half of the season. And the Phillies, Murph, have used a number of players during the first half of the season, too.
Yeah, and that's an understatement, Tom. They announced today Andres Blanco added to the 25-man roster. He is the 44th player to be on the 25-man roster. That is most in baseball. And if you look at all around baseball about the guys who have played, 43 different players have played so far for the Phils. That's tied with the Angels for tops in baseball, 42 for the Rangers and Blue Jays. You know, for various reasons, most being injury, but for guys being sent down for non-performance as well. So when you have a number that high, certainly it's not necessarily a good thing when you see a number like that, 43 different players. And, Ryan Sandberg's job is to kind of juggle that and put the best lineup out there every day, and that's what he's trying to do. But it does make it more difficult when it's not as consistent.
Yeah, today, Sean O'Sullivan, who pitched yesterday's night game of the day-night doubleheader, was designated for assignment to make room for Blanco. Prior to that ball game, Ronnie Cedeno was designated. That's where O'Sullivan's spot came from. 2 balls and no strikes to Justin Upton. And it's 3 balls and no strikes. Upton is 0 for 1. He walked his first time up. 3 pitches for Buchanan with nobody out here in the 5th. And it's full, 3-2.
Difference in today's game and when I played right there. 3-1 fastball count. You get the fastball away. That was a cutter, right?
You mentioned that a couple weeks ago, and it is interesting as that ball is hit out towards center, playable for Revere. That in that short period of time when you stopped playing until now, that the game has changed that much. You know, from a pitching standpoint, that there's been that kind of an addition to the game.
I think so. I think most pitchers are 4-pitch pitchers now. As I said many times, most pitchers were 2, occasionally 3-pitch pitchers when I played. That pitch, the cutting fastball that is part of the repertoire of most pitchers nowadays. That was a slider when I played, and that had spin on it. And these are fastballs that kind of just, as cut is where the term cutter came from. It's kind of cut away from the hitter or into the, in Buchanan's case, into the left-handed hitter. That's nasty, man.
I think a lot of it has to do with the size of the ballparks nowadays, too. That's why I think you see so many 3-1 fastballs, 2-1 fastballs, 3-0 changeups. American League, National League, we've mentioned before, National League used to be a fastball league.
Fastball and speed.
And National League was off speed and power. That's basically what it was. Now, since interleague play's come around, it's a mix of everything.
When you see when you're at the plate and a cutter's coming in, what do you see?
I don't see cutter. I see fastball. That's the idea. It's late movement. Technically, like ball moves from squared up on the barrel, moves a couple inches and ends up on the end of the bat. It's not necessarily a pitch where you can make an adjustment, and you know what I'm saying. You can, at the last second, you can go to right field with it because you read fastball, arm speed, fastball. Ball's coming at you like a fastball, and all of a sudden I think sails. It kind of just moves away, and you don't see rotation on the ball. Coming from a guy that didn't face many cutters, but I'm pretty sure that's what happened.
It's a true cutter is a very late break. It's almost the reverse of a runner. A ball that's going to go away from a left-hander hitter. It's just a real late. And when you see it coming in and you gear up to hit it, you're taking the same approach of a fastball, thinking, okay, it's going to be inner half. By the time it gets to you, it moves. A true cutter should only move 6 or 7 inches.
That's a lot.
Well, Mariano Rivera's cutter.
That's a cutter. That's the guy that invented the darn thing.
And and Mike hit it right on the head. It is a very hard pitch to adjust to when you're geared up for a fastball. And that's a cutter right there that starts outside, outer third. You gear up to hit this ball to right field, and it just darts out of the way. And that has more of a downhill tilt like a hard slider, but it's still an 80-mile-an-hour fastball.
So guys that have good cutters, you can't see rotation at all.
Nothing.
Now some guys that are still tinkering with them, there might be a little bit of rotation.
You see that spin of the little dot.
1 ball, 1 strike to Simmons.
And isn't it? I mean, it's all about grip, isn't it? Because you're not twisting your wrist at the last second to create spin. You're just gripping it a certain way and throwing it with a relaxed fastball arm speed, and you just know from throwing in the outfield a million times that if you put that grip on it, the ball will cut away from a right-hander or in on a left-hander. You throw a ball every now and then from the infield, and it would, maybe you gripped it wrong, or the wind's blowing a certain way, or you released it a certain way, and that thing will just sail on you. Well, these guys have harnessed that into like 60 feet 6 inches.
At 90 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Chopper to third. Ashley's got it. There's one. Utley's throw to first in time. Good play by Howard to dig it out. Side is retired. 5-4-3 double play. No runs, no hits, nobody left. Bottom of the 5th inning. The Phillies trail the Braves 3-2. Answer. All right, we think answer. Who are the three Braves third basemen to win the National League MVP award? You guys want to do this together? You get to see it written down over there.
Well, I wrote something down. I'm generally not correct with these things. I think Chipper Jones was one.
Chipper Jones was correct. That was 1999.
And I think Terry Pendleton shared an MVP one time. But was that, you know, now I think about that, that probably was with the St. Louis Cardinals.
Stay with it.
Stay with it?
Stay with it.
Didn't Pendleton?
1991.
Forget who he played for, right?
Bobby Elliott.
I have to admit, I'd never heard of Bobby Elliott. Bobby Elliott is correct.
Who is that?
I thought the same thing. He won it in 1947. No offense to Bobby Elliott and the Elliott family.
Wow. There you go.
You wrote down, let me just say, you wrote down Eddie Matthews first. And I thought that. And then the other one you wrote down was Darrell Evans at one point. But Eddie Matthews was the one, when I initially read it, that I thought. Log back on to Phillies.com if you received help like Matt did, and see if you want a Phillies prize pack. There's DeFreitas.
You got that Bobby Elliott on your own?
No.
Come on, Matt. Look up Bobby Elliott. See who he is.
He's a
okay. I thought he was a race car driver.
Thought he was a race car driver also.
Isn't he a writer in Toronto?
Thought he was a writer in Toronto.
Good friend of mine.
Hall of Fame writer in Toronto.
I won't mention who sent me the text, but
was it Bob Elliott?
No, he's having a great day off today, though.
Looking at the 3-1 take right here, hopefully.
Ground ball to second. There's one away. Well, the San Francisco Giants are going to spend some time here in Philadelphia for the first and only time. It'll be a 4-game series. It begins on the 21st of July. That's Fiat Italian Heritage Night. And then it winds down on Thursday, the 24th, the Citizens Bank Business Person Special. Tickets can be purchased anytime by going to Phillies.com. Jimmy Rollins 0 for 2. He has struck out. He's popped out. No balls and 1 strike. Rollins now 0 for his last 10. Serves that one to left center field. That'll be in for a base hit. Justin looked at BJ, and that's going to give Rollins a chance to get to second base just ahead of the tag. He needed to do that.
Yes, he did. And Jimmy was on that double right out of the box, which is good to see. Good to see. He smelled double right when he hit it.
It was a nice, easier swing he took right there. You know, we've seen his last few games. He's been hitting a lot of fly balls, but Mike, like you said, he came out of the batter's box thinking double. And the nice thing about it is it plays in front of you, and you can determine if he's going to make a strong throw or if he cuts it off quicker.
He stay on the bag when he popped up.
He's lucky he didn't keep the glove on his back right there when he jumped up. He kind of came off the bag.
Well, that's his 13th double of the year, and it ends at 0 for 10 stretch. Here is Chase Utley, who is 0 for 2. Utley takes low, 1 ball, no strikes. Take a look at our Mazda leaders. Chase is still 1 hit away from reaching 1,500 for his career, and among active second basemen, he is 3rd. He's got Brandon Phillips on his heels, but he's right on Brian Roberts' heels. Robinson Cano has the most among active second basemen. Utley asks for time, and he takes low. It's 2-0.
Well, I guess we're glad he didn't get it.
All right, Bob Elliott, born in San Francisco, California.
Okay.
7-time All-Star.
Shameful that I didn't know who he was.
289 batting average, 170 home runs, 1,995 RBIs. Or 1,195, sorry.
How about hits? How many hits did he have? Did he say that?
No.
7-time All-Star.
Did he go by a nickname by chance?
That's a good question.
Mr. Team?
Jumbo?
Like Spuds Elliott or something like that. Jumbo, yeah, then he crossed over to the NFL. 3 balls and no strikes to Chase Utley.
Okay, we got a little something going here.
Chase does not always go after this 3-0 pitch, but he does here. Ground ball to first. A race for Harang to the bag, and Harang wins it. 3-1 on the putout. Over to third goes Rollins.
I know Chase is not a happy camper right at this moment. Rolling over a 3-0 fastball. A little bit over anxious. Ball had some late movement from the middle of the plate to the outside, and I think Chase was thinking put the team up 1 run, but it was going to be to right field.
Yep.
Maybe thinking that to center or left center, he might have hit that ball hard.
Inside 1-0. I mentioned he doesn't often swing 3-0. He just doesn't. Howard grounded into shift his first time up, struck out his last time. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike.
Ryan had a little stretch there during those road games where he was, poking that ball to left field at will. Was he not?
He was. We talked about this the other night. Do you realize that none of his home runs have been pulled home runs yet this year?
Yes. What a perfect time for that stroke.
1 ball, 2 strikes.
I mean, I'm not inferring that that's easy to do. Just say, okay, well, I'm going to poke one over there, and it's not that easy to do. But that mindset worked well for him. It's a good take.
Trying to get on for the guy that has 2 solo home runs already today, and that's Marlon Byrd. Rollins over at third base. Phillies down 1.
We'll make a changeup right here. 3-2.
With a man that just hit 2 bombs off of you, standing in the on deck. Yeah, possibly.
He's going to go for the strikeout.
Outside ball 4.
Good at bat by Ryan Howard.
Well, Marlon Byrd's had a good day so far. 2 solo home runs.
The first one came on a hanging curveball, drove to left field for 426 feet. And then here in the 4th inning, he gets a fastball down the middle, elevated, hits it 429 feet. And DeFreitas makes a great left-handed catch. He shows his excitement running around. So it's nice seeing him drive the ball left center field, right center field, and knowing that his power is everywhere in the ballpark.
So now with runners on first and third.
How'd you used to feel when you had 2 home runs your first 2 times up in a game? Coming up the 3rd time. Fairly relaxed?
I don't think I've ever done it.
Ground ball to shortstop. Oh, he hit it hard. Side is retired. No runs, 1 hit, and 2 men left. We played 5. We'll head to the 6th. Braves left 3-2. getting it done out of the bullpen. A tough start to the season has turned into a major resurgence heading to the halfway point of this marathon. Since the first month of the season, the relief corps has been a strength for the Phillies, generating an ERA and opponents average amongst the best in Major League Baseball. While the newest member of the pack is living up to his billing, from mid-relief to closer, each reliever has done their job. And it's brought to you by Independence Blue Cross. Live fearless. Well, the Fanatic got involved with an umpire impersonator in between innings. That's right, Matt Mailer and the Fanatic. They kind of did this act the other day, but Matt has perfected it even more. Matt, with his newly shaven head, decided to do a little pit bull. And the dancers came out as well, wearing looked like the same kind of shirt that Pitbull wore the other day to kick off the World Cup. Never gets old. Never gets old. Just hearing the reaction from the crowd, they seem to enjoy it. Today, I guess we could point this out. The other day, when Matt did it, when he was trying to be Pitbull, he forgot to take the umpire's the shirt off. So he had the umpire's shirt on. No, Matt Mailer.
Oh, me.
So, he took the shirt off today. He's got the yellow shirt underneath. The other day he did it, and he forgot to take the umpire's shirt off over top, so he didn't feel like he had perfected it.
Okay.
So
give another shot.
That's why he did it today, yeah. Justin DeFreitas, the new pitcher, as we go to the 6th. Tommy La Stella takes inside. It's 1-0. Bullpen's given up some runs during this series. They've been very good. DeFreitas has been excellent for the Phillies since he's returned from the minor leagues. And La Stella 1-for-1 with 2 runs scored today. And it's 2 balls and no strikes to La Stella. Outside, 2-1.
Wrong. Oh, thought it was a strike.
I thought it was outside too. I'm sorry, 2-1. Outside corner.
I thought it was 2-0. My bad. Oh, are we on TV?
We are. We have to pay attention more. Right? Looks like Coy Hill wants it to go inside. That one's hit sharply to Utley. He knocks it down in his time. Here's to Budweiser. Here's to baseball. On this beautiful Sunday afternoon here in Philadelphia. Temperatures in the 80s. We are in summer, full summer bloom here in Philadelphia. Phillies trying to salvage the final game in this day-night doubleheader. Here's Gerald Laird. Laird is 1 for 2. 1 ball and no strikes. There you go, Schmitty.
There you go.
Got Mike Schmidt and the Bradledge 54. Foul ball past third, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. And he bunts. There you go. DeFreitas off the mound. Throws to first. Right on by Gerald Laird. And Ryan Howard. Laird on his way to second. And Utley throws it right on by Rollins. Thank goodness for Rollins' decoy. I don't know if Laird would have gotten up and tried because he doesn't run all that well. But he is going to get a base hit on that bunt.
Are you waiting for a comment?
I was going to say, all you need is a little bit of music on that one.
Well, it's a nice bunt. I mean, it's going to take a perfect throw. DeFreitas pops off the mound, and there was the first problem. And then Chase tries to turn and throw, and I think we'll just go with it, trying to set him up. Jimmy does a nice job of doing the fake, but also a nice job by D. Brown of backing the throw up.
Yeah.
And not allow Lear to get to third base.
Ryan Sandberg's coming out. Now, here's what I think that he's going to ask. He's going to ask if Gerald Laird could be called out for being out of the base path. And I'm thinking that right now because when he bunted it, he started way out of the baseline. Now, he did venture back closer to it, but never got there. I don't know if that had an effect on the play or not.
Well, the problem with that is the catcher was not throwing the ball, or the pitcher was not throwing the ball from home plate, which you're right, he is out of the baseline, but that play is generally only called when it's coming from the catcher, throwing straight down the line.
I wondered, though, just because of how far he started out way out of it. And looking at that replay, even a good throw, I don't think a good throw would have had him. So now Harang's up with a runner at second. He's swinging away, and he fights it off, 0-1.
I just can't believe that you brought that up really going in the game, and now it's in the
with the bunt,
7th inning, and he drops a bunt. Apparently, the Phillies didn't have that scouting report.
I will say this, though. When you said it, you saw my face when you said it. When Matt said it, I think I went, really?
Yeah.
Because he's a catcher. Now, Ruiz bunts well, but not as often as Laird does.
It's hard to play an 8th hole hitting catcher up, so to deny him the bunt as a third baseman with 1 out.
The ball's in 2 strikes to Harang.
Well, I guess it's the same. If you're the guy hitting the 8 hole and you think you have some power to hit the ball in the ballpark, I want to see the guy swing. But if you're a singles hitter with occasional power, if the bunt's there, take it, because he's going to bunt you over to second base anyways. Now you're still in scoring position with 2 outs. So 1, you're getting on base. 2, your average goes up, and 3, you're getting in scoring position once the pitcher, if he does his job by getting the bunt down. I think about it more and more. If I could do my career over again, I might have bunted a few more times.
Like 2 or 3.
Yeah. Well, I think it really what it does. When you're not swinging the bat well.
Oh.
Now this is when you're playing every day. Of course, my later years, there's no chance of me even thinking about bunting. But when you're playing every day, and you've probably been in that situation, you can't hit a beach ball that's thrown in there. So why not go ahead and get the bunt down, get some confidence.
My first hit was a bunt. My last hit was a bunt, and probably one of the biggest at-bats in the World Series in 1980 was me bunting in the 5th game when we were being beaten bad. Leading off the 9th inning, I dropped a bunt for a base hit. Kept my World Series hitting streak alive, which is no big deal. But the next night, I led off an inning.
Fly ball, shallow left.
Excuse me, that was in the 4th game. In the 5th game, the 3rd game in Kansas City, I was leading off an inning, and when I came up to lead off the inning, we were only 1 run down at the time. I would never bunt 1 run down in a game, but Jim Fry screaming at George Brett, move up, he might bunt. I hit a ground ball to George Brett's left. He had to dive for it and hit off his glove and went into left field. Now, if he's playing normal depth, he'd have caught it easily.
Wow.
I go to first base. Dell Unser hits a double over the first base bag. I scored to tie the game, and I believed in Keith Moreland. We got Dell over, and we ended up winning that, the only game we won in Kansas City in 1980. All, I think, because of a bunt.
Right.
Did you ever ask George about that?
Sure. We kid around about that all the time. We have a little evening show, George and I do.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of funny stuff, and that's part of it, that Jim Fry bunt.
Did you ever ask Jim Fry about it?
No, I have not asked Jim Fry about it, but I'm glad he alerted George Brett that I might bunt when we were 1 run down, which is totally wrong.
Wow. 2 outs for B.J. Upton. Inside, 1 ball and no strikes.
But again, the end of the story on the bunts, I mean, that's a big part of the game, knowing when you can take it, when a good time to do it is, having the knack for it, practicing it, wanting to do it. wanting to get out of a slump with it, having it in your repertoire. It's not part of today's game.
Down the right field line, that'll slice out of play. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike to B.J. Upton.
I think we've seen a lot of opportunities this year where there's been 2 outs, man on third base. It's Ryan Howard or whoever it is with the shift on, or guys playing way back.
Greatest play in the world, a man on third base and 2 outs. Everybody's playing you back. Drop a bunt.
Outside, 2 balls and 1 strike. Now, with that said, if they did it and it didn't work, they might hear it. But if you are apt to do it and comfortable to do it, then there's confidence to be able to be successful with it too. Two balls and 2 strikes to B.J. Upton.
Who was it? Otis Nixon tried to bunt for Atlanta in the World Series that year against the Toronto Blue Jays. Timlin.
It's Mike Timlin.
He got a lot of people were frustrated that he tried to bunt in that situation.
Was it man on third?
I don't know. I can't think of that.
2 balls and 2 strikes. And he fights it off foul, and it remains 2-2.
One of the greatest bunters in my generation of all was Steve Garvey.
A little drag bunt down the third base
line. He could drop one on a dime.
Really?
Yeah. So you're always aware of that defensively. Don't let him bunt. And that was a guy getting 175, 180 hits a year.
It's considered a power hitter. Two and 2 to B.J. Upton. He lays off 3 balls and 2 strikes. Time is running out for you to vote for the 2014 Major League Baseball All-Stars. You can help send your favorite Philly to the All-Star game by voting up to 35 times at Phillies.com. Vote exclusively at Phillies.com or on your mobile phone. Voting ends Thursday, July 3rd at 11:59 p.m. Eastern. Time is called, and Utley just asked Coy Hill and DeFreitas to roll through the signs again. Well, here we go, Dell. At the plate in Kansas City. Mike's at first. Bam. Past Willie Mays Aikens. And down into the corner.
Tell you, once I got a head of steam up, I could get from first to third. Running downhill.
Upton saying that ball hit the grounds. Ted Barrett saying it didn't. There looked like there was a splash of dirt, but it may have been the glove that went down. And the side is retired. A strikeout of Upton the second time he has struck out. The first base umpire is saying that it was indeed a strikeout, and Hill caught the foul tip. Take a look. It hit the grounds, but the side is retired here in Philadelphia. Braves lead at 3-2. Carlos Tosca is picking the phone up to have them look at it. Now the defense is already off the field, so they can't review this. They need to hold the defense. So this inning has come to a close. But we'll let Ted Barrett and Freddie Gonzalez still chat about it. It's a 1-run lead for Atlanta. We'll be back, we think, with the bottom of the 6th. stores. Go further. Buy the Pennsylvania Lottery. Benefits older Pennsylvanians every day. Buy Budweiser. Here's to Budweiser. Here's to baseball. And buy W.B. Mason. You can't go wrong when you buy right. Bottom of the 6th inning. Just to kind of go over what happened at the end of that 6th inning. We hear different things. Our production cavity hears certain things from New York about certain plays. And at the end of the inning, they said, please hold. Because they thought there was going to be something that was going to. And when there's not something that needs to be reviewed, if there's a normal end of the inning, as Ashley punches that one the opposite way for a base hit, they'll say end of inning, go to break. So at the last moment, we were told in our headsets in the production cavity to hold. But that foul tip is not reviewable, as we mentioned. That's not something they could have reviewed. They could have conferred about it. But they can't go to New York and say, hey, was that a foul tip or not? That's not part of the rules. So we wanted to let everybody know, just because we hesitated a moment, just because we were given the signal to hold, but there was really no reason to hold. The coordinator might have thought the umpire was holding, but Ted Barrett was not. Anyway, we continue here at the bottom of the 6th inning. Cody Ashley just ended an 0 for 14 slump with that single to left field. Dominic Brown is 2 for 2. It's a 3-2 game here in the bottom of the 6th. To an 0 to Brown. Not to throw the debate out there, but that's not a reviewable play. We've seen it a couple of times. That's something they probably could add in the future, because it was pretty clear that that ball was fouled and took a bounce into Coy Hill's glove. There's a foul ball, and it's 2-1.
I know, I'd like to see that, Matt, in a good fastball count right there. Dominic, I'd like to see him turning on that ball like that. And not, squaring it up on the line like he did.
Is there anything different that you guys see in his setup?
I'm just staring at Dominic Brown right now on the monitor, and it looks like he's got his hands a little higher. See, right there.
A little bit of a rock going back and forth too. I don't know if that's different.
I mean, it's momentum, which is fine. The only issue I have is that his hands are a little higher. He has no break going back away from his body. It's almost a still right there. His hands will stay there, and he kind of swings from there, which to me that tells you why he still has that loopy swing.
Well, he draws a walk to put runners on first and seconds. Time now for our AT&T fan photo of the game. This is your chance to send in at any time during the course of the day a photo of your liking. Just tweet it with the hashtag Philly fan photo, and we will show that photo a little later on in the telecast.
That was a good at bat by Dominic. We're talking about his mechanics, but the ability to get that base on balls. He's the winning run. The tying run's on second. Now I'm looking for Ryan Sandberg to put the bunt on.
Coy Hill is the batter. He squares. They throw behind Ashe and hits Ashe. Doesn't squirt too far. And I believe Cody's okay, but it could get a piece of him. Pitcher spot is up next, but we're into the Phillies bullpen, so there'll be a pinch hitter for the pitcher.
Got him in the hiney.
Yeah, but
the best spot on your body to get hit.
But and we talk about it, go in feet first, because if a guy wants to stand in front of the base and he's wanting to stand there, then he's going to get a spike there, and he won't stay there and block the base anymore, even though he probably didn't do it on purpose because the throw took him that way.
Well, Chase does it all the time.
Yes.
Just lowered his knee.
Yes, he does.
Well, that's
no,
okay because
he
he's on
blocks
our
the
team.
base. I mean,
right,
I don't
yeah. That's okay though. He's with us.
Yeah, because Cody got whacked pretty good, not only by the ball, but also by the leg of Simmons.
Right.
1 strike to Coy Hill. He squares again, and he bunts it back to the mound. Harang gets to it quickly, fires to third, and they get the lead runner. Just a little too much on that bunt. Fielder's choice. 1-5 on the putout, and Mayberry will pinch hit.
Well, it's not the easiest thing to do in that situation to get that bunt down, but it is something that you need to do to win ball games. Those are little fundamental things that, you know, change the scope of a ball game.
Yeah, that's the area where you have to bunt to third base.
Yeah.
You have to make him leave his position to field the ball and take the out at first base.
Diekman warming in the bullpen for the Phillies. Mayberry pitch hitting overall, hitting .224 with 5 homers and 20 RBIs. Right, Sandberg decides to go with the right-handed hitting John Mayberry instead of the lefty Tony Gwynn. Phillies also have Andres Blanco available. He was added to the roster today. You see John's numbers 8 for 19 as a pinch hitter. One ball, 1 strike. I believe Harang wanted that pitch. Sailed toward the outer edge, and it's 2-1.
Very important runner right now is that guy on first base. It's a winning run, but he's got Dominic Brown in front of him, and the ball in the dirt. You got to be careful that you don't just take off. You got to make sure Dominic takes off, and if Dominic does take off, you got to make sure you're on second.
Ball's off the foot of Mayberry. Dominic has a good lead off second base. Simmons was keeping him close. The second baseman was in the neighborhood. And Mayberry trying to walk it off with the count 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Right off the knee.
Wow.
You know, to this day, I'm almost 65, and I still have a couple of toes that are ugly as can be. Just from that. Second toe on my left foot, man, is it ugly.
Really?
That
was high, though, where he hit himself, huh?
And knowing a pitcher right here, he's going to probably throw a 2-seamer inside.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Ground ball to third. Scooped up by Pena. And a double play. And the side is retired. So Aaron Harang gets out of it. It's a 5-3 double play. Side is retired here in the 6th. We'll go to the 7th at Citizens Bank Park. A 1-run Braves lead.
when I saw you, love hit the mark. Falling into a spin. Scott and do tunes for you. Ever since took that child and gone.
Well, time now for your local Honda dealers game summary. With the Braves on top 3-2. They scored 2 in the second and 1 in the fourth. The Phillies single runs on solo home runs by Marlon Byrd. David Buchanan walked 5 in 5 innings of work. The Phillies are into their bullpen. De Freitas pitched a scoreless 6th inning. And now Jake Diekman. Looks like a pretty nice day down at Independence Hall. Jake Diekman will take over here in the 7th. He'll face Pena, a switch hitter, Freddie Freeman, and Justin Upton. These lucky fans are today's Citizen 7. They were to receive a prize pack courtesy of Citizens Bank. Good banking is simple, clear, and personal, and that's helping you bank better. Good banking is good citizenship. Diekman's numbers 2 and 2, a 4.25 earned run average. 48 strikeouts and 36 innings of work. Ramiro Pena 0 for 2. He walked back in the second. He's grounded out. He's also flied to center.
I didn't realize that's a lot of strikeouts. 36 innings of work to have a 4.5 ERA.
He gave up a grand slam to Dan Uggla last time the Braves were here. A lot of the runs are because of the home runs. He gave up 4, but a lot of the runs are because of the home runs he's allowed. They've been not only the grand slam, but there have been other multiple base runners during those home runs. Outside, 1 ball and 1 strike. He hit 100 again the other night.
Yeah, I mean he's got closer stuff, doesn't he?
He definitely has closer stuff. You're right. That ERA though is tough to get down when it jumps up so early if you're a reliever working 1 inning at a time. I remember John Smoltz saying that one time. He had one year where he had 2 or 3 outings in April and he just got lit up. As that's outside, 3-1. And he said he just couldn't get the ERA down. Even by the All-Star break, he was humming along. He had a scoreless streak. He just couldn't get the ERA down. It was in the high 3s.
Well, unfortunately, as a pitcher, you can have 1 or 2 bad outings throughout a year, and it just doesn't show justice of how well you pitched all year because of your ERA. It just looks good on the back of a baseball card. That's about it.
Well, for me, a lot of times these guys are runners inherited is a big number. Right?
Absolutely. Foul tip, and there's 1 away. 98 on that fastball. Be the first to know breaking draft news right from your smartphone. Download the free CSN Phillies sports app today or go to csnphilly.com. Just finished up the draft for all 4 major sports over the last month and a half or so. It was always good to have that app to close things out. Freeman is 1 for 3. Takes low, 1-0.
They have one of the few good hitters in the league with a pronounced uppercut.
I wondered about that when he was a rookie, if anybody ever tried to change him. You know what I mean? Because you're right, it is different than.
It's unusual. But he's compact, he's short, he's quick. He may swing up at the ball, but he's got a good idea of the strike zone. Stands close to the plate.
That's why I think it's very important with him, LaStella, that you have to live up a little bit in the strike zone and by the elbow in that area. That's where I think that hole is ready. That's where if they have a hole, that's where the weakness is right there.
Sorry to Major League Scoreboard. The Mets and the Pirates playing out in Pittsburgh. Pirates are shutting out the Mets 5-0. Pedro Alvarez, a home run and a double.
To me, he doesn't look like he puts a lot of thought into hitting. No. He just gets back in that box and says, bring another one in here. He's a great hitter, don't get me wrong. Almost MVP last year.
Swing and a miss. They got him with a slider. Back-to-back strikeouts for Diekman. 2 outs here in the 7th. All right, Matt, it's time now for our Hyundai defensive play of the game.
Well, this takes us back in the 3rd inning with Chase Utley drives the ball to left field. You see there, adjusting up. Timing the jump right over the Tool Performance Energy sign and keeping the concentration and bringing in a possible double that might go off the wall. And that is your defensive play of the game, brought to you by Hyundai.
All right, did he really need to jump? Did he need to jump on that one?
I would have had to.
Well, you would have had to. Guess you can't say anything. The Phillies had one in center field that Ben Revere missed for what turned out to be a 2-run triple in the 2nd. So if he jumps and he makes the catch, it's okay. Outside, 2 balls and no strikes. Oh, excuse me, I did it again on the outside corner. It's 1-1.
Was I confused with that before? Was I correct?
You were correct. I was wrong.
You were just 1 pitch off.
Yeah, you were just 1 pitch off. Because Ted Barrett was a little slow, I umpired before he umpired. Like there, that's outside, 2-1. I waited. No, you were right. I was off.
But I'll take the blame for it. That's all right.
Matt just sat there. He didn't help us out at all.
Some more interesting baseball stuff from us guys.
That's right. Let you know that we will make a mistake from time to time.
We get confused in here.
Swing and a miss, 3-2.
That's hardball right there. That's what they call good old-fashioned hardball. Jake Diekman pitching to Justin Upton, 3-1 with a left-hander on deck. Says, "The heck with this! I'm going at this dude." Right?
98 cheese. Here you go.
Try it again. He does. 97. He struck out the side. Upton to the Braves, retired in order. Time to stretch with the Braves up by 1. 3-2 as we go to the bottom of the 7th inning. Top of the order is due up for the Phillies. Friday, July 25th, the Phillies will take on the Arizona Diamondbacks in the 3-game series. Game 1 is at 7:05. Sunday, the 27th, is the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers Local 98 Cole Hamels T-shirt, free to fans 14 and under. You can order tickets by going to Phillies.com. Well, this is only a 1-run game as we go to the bottom of the 7th. Ben Revere will lead it off. There's Cole. He'll be part of that giveaway. Also in that shot is Tony Gwynn Jr. chatting with Dominic Brown. Tony still available off the bench for the Phillies. And Mike, since last time we had you on, Tony Gwynn Sr. passed away. It was a pretty sad day for baseball. Obviously, Tony Jr. Was on the bereavement list for several days. Got an unbelievable round of applause when he came up for the first time here.
Yeah, and I saw that on my iPad the next morning, and I thought it was fantastic. Very, very classy by Philly fans to do that. And they had a great tribute to Tony throughout the country, throughout the baseball games. Beloved baseball player, Hall of Famer, and classic hitter. You can always refer to Tony Gwynn, sort of like a modern-day Rod Carew, if you will.
Yeah.
Just marveled at what he could do with a bat, and how hard he worked. In fact, we used to go out and watch him take extra batting practice. It was so sweet to watch Tony Gwynn hit. And, coached the San Diego State, I believe.
Correct.
Stayed in baseball, had a hitting academy out there. Was such a positive effect on so many people, not just because of how he played the game, but his personality and his willingness to, to work with kids. And Tony Gwynn Jr. and I shared a moment today. As a matter of fact, we hadn't seen each other, but right prior to, if I can just take this a little further, last time I was in town, he and I chatted about, I told him what I had been through in the last 6 months, and I guess he didn't know that, and I started describing some of the medications that I was on. Well,
Pena catches that one out of the air on a broken bat. Bloop. Yeah, there's one away.
And he actually was going to share that with his father, and the next time, the next Sunday, we saw each other, and he gave me his email, and I was getting ready to communicate with his mom, Tony's wife, and Tony, and he died.
Yeah.
And Tony Gwynn Jr. really had no idea he was that bad.
Wow. I know he had said that his immune system had been banged up a little bit during his during the suffering through the cancer battle. But you said the tribute. Anytime we were out in San Diego and he was there, because he was doing some television. Boy, what a likable guy just to even sit and just talk to. 1 ball, no strikes to Jimmy Rollins. Rollins doubled his last time up. He's 1 for 3. 1 ball and 1 strike. Phillies have managed 9 hits, but only 2 runs. Their troubles with runners in scoring position have continued here today. The 2 runs, just the 2 solo home runs by Marlon Byrd. Off the end of the bat, out towards center field, and Simmons won't get it. A base hit for Rollins. So he's 2 for 4. Time for the Major League Notebook. Here's Greg Murphy.
All right, thanks a lot, guys. Brought to you by Gwinnett University. A scary moment for the Brewers and outfielder Carlos Gomez last night, who had to leave the game after colliding with Ryan Braun in the outfield with an apparent neck injury. He is out of today's lineup, but the team is saying that he's feeling pretty good, and he is day-to-day, could even be available to pinch hit today. And we told you yesterday, guys, about Bryce Harper and getting closer to coming back. Well, last night in Harrisburg, rehab assignment. 4 for 5 in that game, including 3 home runs. The team obviously very happy with that and expecting that he'll be back on Monday when they open up a series versus Colorado. So Bryce Harper very, very close to being back in the big leagues, guys.
All right, Murph, we appreciate that. Harper got a chance, I think, to play with his brother last night. Murph, did you see that part of it, that his brother was part of the roster for Harrisburg?
I did not see that.
Yeah, I think he got a chance. I think his brother is part of the Harrisburg team. I don't know if I saw a picture of the 2 of them together. 1 ball and no strikes to Chase Utley. Utley's 0 for 3 today. And he hits one back toward the middle into center field, a base hit. Rollins around second. He's going to third. Upton's throw will go to second. It'll be first and third with 1 man down. And for Chase Utley, that is career hit number 1500.
Good hitting by Chase right up the middle, and more importantly, great base running by Jimmy Rollins, not pulling up at second and pressing the issue, knowing he had to get to third as the tying run with 1 out.
Little tip right there by Chase Utley to the standing ovation he's receiving here at the ballpark.
I get a kick out of these young men nowadays in the class that they show. The other night, obviously, Saltamarchia with Tony Gwynn Jr., but I see Freeman over here at first base actually backing away from first base, allowing Chase to have the stage there. That's very classic.
So Chase Utley, 1,500 career hits. He's on first. Rollins on third. Howard's at the plate. 1 man down at a strike. 87 on that fastball from Harang. Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Who was it talking earlier today about dropping a bunt with a man on third? Wasn't it you? The man to my left?
No, I think it was the man to your right.
Oh.
Some people think we look alike.
I don't want to see it right here.
No, that was 1 out.
Back toward the middle, off the mound. Simmons has got it. Well, how about this? This is going to be a double play ball with the shift. And the side is retired. He hit the ball hard. He hit it right on the nose. He hit it back toward the middle. And Simmons, the shortstop, was hanging right behind the second base pad. Frustrations for the Phils after elation for Chase Utley reaching a milestone. The Phils trail it by 1. On store for the ride of your life and save big today. By AT&T, mobilizing your world. And by Dodge. Visit Dodge.com or your local dealer today. Jake Diekman's still out there as we go to the top of the 8th inning. Chase Utley went into second base and went in pretty hard trying to get to Andrelton Simmons here to try to stop the double play and hopefully help the Phils tie this game.
You know, actually, I am surprised that Chase got that far down there that quick. I mean, that ball was boom, boom, right to him. He's standing right behind second base. But that's Chase. I mean, he's going hard all the time. I don't know if that was a flagrant slide or not. I mean, look at it.
Well, the rule of thumb is as long as you can touch the base.
Which he can't, or which he didn't. Do you see the umpire? Yeah, they possibly could have called him out.
Well, here's Jason Hayward as we lead off the 8th inning. Hayward takes low, 1 ball and no strikes. That's the furthest point before he got to him. Marquez is looking at it, the second base umpire.
You know, it's a good slide. And, yeah.
It's clean. If he'd have gone in high or something. Might have
right, and you got an unbelievable secondary lead. Now, the problem is the shortstop's angry because, one, he got on top of him so quick. Well, you know what? He caught the ball. Go to second base and make the play. You don't get extra points for getting it, jogging to first base or second base and making a strong throw. Just make the play and get out of the way.
2-1 to Jason Hayward. Well, you know, Chase Utley wanted to tie this ball game, and there's been a lot of frustration. The Braves have swept the first 3 games. This first half has been frustrating for the Phillies as a club.
No question.
3 balls and 1 strike. Phillies have 11 hits and they have 2 runs. They have at least 1 hit in each of the 7 innings. Just haven't been able to get that hit with the runner in scoring position. Ground ball to shortstop. Bobbled for a moment by Rollins. Not in time.
I tell you, give Hayward credit for hustling hard on that ball, because Jimmy, I mean, just one. It didn't even look like that was a lot of time. No. It's a split second where he bobbled that ball. That would have been a close play if he'd have caught it.
Well, Hayward had been 0 for his last 30. That was quick.
Wow.
0 for his last 30 against left-handers. They're going to score that at E6. And for Rollins, the 7th error of the season. So Hayward's now 0 for his last 31 against left-handers. I think the key is right what you were saying about Hayward just moving down the line, because looking at the replay, you don't fault, obviously, Sandberg going out there to discuss it because it was close, but he did beat it. Simmons takes low, 1 ball, no strikes. There's Kenny Giles in the bullpen for the Phillies.
This may be a stupid question, but is Giles now in the frontline program in the bullpen?
I would think he is, Matt, wouldn't you?
I'd agree.
Yeah. Now, he may not always be in the 8th inning, but like if there's lefties that Diekman has to face in the 7th, then they can use Giles in the 8th. That one's floated out over Utley's head. Hayward will stop at second, and the Braves have first and second with nobody out. As promised earlier in the ballgame, we have the AT&T fan photo of the game. This one comes from @D Collins. Little Phillies fan wearing the old school Phillies cap. Tweet your photo to #PhillyFanPhoto for a chance to be shown in an upcoming game broadcast, brought to you by AT&T. Tommy La Stella is 1 for 2 with a couple of runs scored.
That's what I like to do in this situation. Sometimes I would go in and tell the pitcher. Now they do more of it from the dugout now, but take a long hold, sit in your stretch for a long time, and then step back. Let's see if we can get the batter to give away the bunt. You know what I mean? So we can get to where you know he's bunting. Because sometimes the batter will flinch around early, and you can tell he's bunting, and then I can put a play on at third base. I charge in this particular case.
Well, and
you throw a strike, and I'll be right on top of that hitter.
Exactly, and I think this is going to be the usually the number 2, where all 3 people are charging extremely hard. Hopefully Jimmy can get this third base.
Well, I don't know if they're going to do that, Matty. I don't know. You don't see that much, but in the first pitch, you know, you can really get a hitter to commit, and you know he's going to bunt.
And he bunts it over toward third, and it goes foul. 0-2.
I just think in this time of the game, going in the top of the 8th, the way the offense has struggled by getting that big hit, you want to get the lead runner at third base right now.
I would agree 100%.
So you put the crash play on, all 3 guys are charging, and you have to get Hayward out at third base.
Pitcher has to cooperate, throwing a strike. You pretty much want to make the batter bunt the ball fair. But we're past that point in the game right now. We're 0-2 on Listella. I doubt very much if he's going to have to bunt with 2 strikes with the lead. What do you think?
No, I think he's going to swing. He's been swinging the ball. He's had some good at bats against the left-handers.
Yeah, right.
He's going to swing away. He's going to strike out. Then they're going to bring Giles in to face Laird. There's my prediction.
Laird and then a pinch hitter. The 0-2 pitch. Ground ball under the glove of Diekman. That could be 2.
Even better.
Ooh, just in time to get Listella. 6-3 on the double play. So we were talking about before about the pitcher. Thank goodness he didn't
letting the ball go.
Off.
That's right. If he touches it, it's a whole different story. So,
well, now you're in a situation.
Our friend Mr. Laird here.
Yeah, here's your test.
Matt, scream down there as loud as you can. Don't let him bunt with two outs.
Well, he bunted his last time and reached base. He doubled home a run in the 4th.
You get an interesting situation here right now with Johnson in the on-deck circle. Braves got a lot of heat on the bench right now, right-handed.
Yeah, they've got Ugla, Chris Johnson. They've got the switch hitter Ryan Domit. And Jordan Schaefer's the lefty, Christian Bethencourt. And then they've got Evan Gattis. Is that what you were signaling to Matt? Mike was up here signaling to Matt about Evan Gattis.
I couldn't think of his name.
The Stars have aligned for the 2014 Major League Baseball All-Star Game as the best of the National League take on the American League's elite. Don't miss the action Tuesday, July 15th on Fox.
I'll tell you, that's a pretty strong right-handed bench right there when you think about it.
Yeah, but Gattis has got the back spasms?
Yeah, back spasms. Yeah. They called it something else, but in layman's terms,
backache.
He's got a backache.
Back tightness.
So here is Laird. First pitch is low. 1 ball and no strikes. Yeah, the Braves essentially have 4 catchers on their, or 3 on their bench, 4 counting Laird. 1 ball and 1 strike. 4. 3 is surprising. Because they added Bethencourt, the rookie, before last night's night portion of the day-night doubleheader that the Braves swept.
So he got his first major league hit last night?
Yep. Chopper to the hole.
Infield single.
Two balls, 1 strike.
Laird, one of the few guys in baseball that chokes out.
Out toward the middle. Rollins to his left has a little more time. Side. He's retired. Diekman 2 scoreless innings. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th inning. The Phillies still in search of that clutch base hit. We'll see if they can get it. Oh, remember this moment where Jimmy Rollins passed Mike Schmidt as the Phillies' all-time hits leader. Well, Big Time Bats is releasing this full-size bat that is limited and sells for $109.95. Call now. It's 1-866-280-BATS or log on to BigTimeBats.com. This bat commemorating Jimmy Rollins becoming the all-time hits leader in Phillies history. Again, 866-280-BATS. Chase Simmons into his 16th ball game for the Braves. 11 strikeouts and 12 innings of work.
By the way, I wasn't here for that. That was a cool moment to watch.
It was. Thank you. Proud to be a part of it.
He still contends he didn't know you were here.
Really?
Yeah, he does. He said it the other day.
I knew he was here. Oh, you're talking about Jimmy.
Well, you knew Mike was here, yeah. Jimmy didn't know. Next homestand, the Phillies presented Jimmy Rollins with an all-expense paid trip to Italy for he and his wife Jahari and their family. Mike got a baseball.
I got a handshake from Richie and the ball.
1 ball and no strikes. Swing and a miss. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. The print that they gave out that night, which they gave Jimmy an oversized frame print, was really cool. It had Jimmy obviously, but it had you and Richie, you and Whitey kind of silhouetted in the back. So if he asks you to sign it or something like that, tell him that you want the same thing. There it is right there. See?
Oh, nice. I didn't see that.
Yeah, it's beauty. One ball and 2 strikes to Marlon Byrd. He has 2 solo home runs. That's the scoring for the Phillies here today. And he went after a slider. And there's 1 out here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Oh, the Junior Phillies Club is presented by Powerade. It's for children 14 and under. You can join the Junior Phillies Club for $15. You receive a backpack, Chase Utley poster, and magnet set, and other fun items. Go to Phillies.com/Junior Phillies Club to enroll. Cody Ashe is 1 for 3. Ashe singled his last time up. Fights that one off foul, and it's 0-1.
Braves have a way of coming up with these relievers, don't they?
We saw him in spring training, and literally he looks like a clone to Craig Kimbrell. Now, he doesn't have the same stuff,
right,
but the size, I think sometimes the way he delivers. I mean, doesn't he look like Kimbrell a little bit? The whole setup.
The breaking ball he just struck out Marlin on was, wow, I think broke 4 feet.
Saw Bobby Cox as we look at his motion. Saw Bobby Cox the night he pitched against the Phillies in Clearwater at the Jim Fregosi tribute. And Bobby raved about the kid. As she fouls it, and it remains 0-2. Braves started him in Double-A and then called him up from Double-A.
I know what I was going to ask you. Does it when you were standing in the batter's box, did it matter to you where the pitcher stood on the rubber?
No.
So if he stood on the third base side, you didn't feel crowded? Or
I probably didn't. No, I thought I noticed about everything, but I didn't notice that. Didn't factor that in. No, I didn't.
Chopper out to second. 2 outs. What about you, Matt? Could you feel it where a guy was standing on the rubber?
You know what? Actually, it's Tony Gwynn Sr. taught me about when a left-hander stands on either side of the rubber. If he stands on the first side of the rubber, he didn't worry about the slider because it had to go across the plate to get to a strike. So he worried about the inside fastballs more. That's why I think he stayed on the ball so well, is because he reacted to a fastball in. But if I have a left-hander stand on the first base side, I feel crowded. I feel like I have to really cheat to get the barrel out. Now, if a right-hander stand on the third base side, I thought the pitcher was in a lot of trouble because I knew he couldn't bury the fastball inside on me.
So the fact that he's lined up right now on the first base side of the rubber, if you were up at the plate, you're thinking, okay, he thinks he can get this fastball in on me.
In on you, and that's where he feels comfortable. That's where he feels the most comfortable because everything he throws is going to have that 2-seam action or the 4-seam action, but it's going to be going towards my barrel. Fastballs inside is where you get jammed.
2 balls and 1 strike to Brown.
I would say some right-handed, when I hit right-handed against a right-handed pitcher that might be standing on the third base side of the rubber would pose a little bit of a tougher view or at bat in general because he's throwing across his body to home plate. You know what I mean? His release point is probably going to be right at my body or behind me.
It's even 2 balls and 2 strikes to Brown. That one is spun out toward third. It's going to spin foul. Well, there was a pitch that was coming in on him. He didn't hit it all that far, and it just spun, fortunately, into foul territory.
It's that fastball inside, elevated a little bit. Going to fight to get to it. How that bat it did not break, I do not know.
It's a wonder that he didn't crack his bat. Simmons strikes out Brown. He strikes out 2 in the inning, and the side is retired in order. We've completed our first 8. We'll go to the 9th inning. The Braves lead it by 1. Box score, and we'll turn our attention to the Atlanta Braves, who have won the first 3 games of the series, including the day-night doubleheader yesterday. They lead this one 3-2. Gerald Laird has a double and an RBI as a bunt single. Tommy La Stella 1 for 3 today. He had a couple of extra base hits in yesterday's ball games. Has another one here today, and the 2-run triple by B.J. Upton off the glove of Ben Revere in center field. Well, that got the scoring going for the Braves. So now as we go to the top of the 9th, it'll be up to Jonathan Papelbon to try to keep this at a 1-run ball game. Off day tomorrow. Ryan Sandberg figuring he's got to get Papelbon some work with the Phillies struggling during this series against the Braves. Papelbon 2-1 with an earned run average of 1.44. And Ryan Domit will be the pinch hitter for the Braves. Switch hitting catcher, outfielder. sometime first baseman. And he'll pinch hit for Shea Simmons, which means Kimbrel will start warming up in the bullpen for the bottom of the 9th inning. First pitch is over. It's 0-1. Jake Diekman went 2 strong innings. He struck out 3. Well, this bullpen or this ball game is going to come down to the offense. Last night, Ryan Doman offensively yanked this one out of the ballpark. That helped the Braves scoring. Guy off the bench. But this game has come down to offense and timely hitting. The Braves have had a little timely hitting, enough of it, and the Phillies have not.
Well, the home run he hit last night would come off somewhat of a flat fastball. Didn't really have the sink or the cut off Rosenberg and drove it to right field.
You guys remember when you played, if there were ways that you can get out of these? The Phillies are 10 for 75 with runners in scoring position. Get out of that kind of stuff. Is there a way to do it? I mean, is there a way that you tried to do it? Put guys in motion. I mean, there have been base
one thing
runners.
that makes it tough is the constant harping on it. Now it's a fact. We don't hit well with men in scoring position.
Right.
I should say we haven't hit well with men in scoring position. There's a lot of emphasis on it, a lot of talk about it. So each guy that goes up there with men in scoring position feels more heat to do it, and that's natural, Matt. I mean, you can't help but realize when you go up with men in scoring position that you haven't been getting them in. Right. We haven't been getting hits, and then you line the ball somewhere and it's right at somebody, and then so it compounds itself. The only answer is baseball's played every day. You keep coming out, you keep going after them, you keep preparing, you keep believing, and boom, somebody hits a double with the bases loaded, and you win a ball game, and all of a sudden you go on a little bit of a tear and you forget about it.
Like Ryan Howard's ball today, up the middle, where Simmons was playing imperfectly. Hit the ball in the nose.
Ball that he caught off the wall in left field.
Yep.
Yeah, but let's go back a step and realize that if you're not hitting, all those little fundamentals mean so much more. Making the plays in the outfield, dropping the bunts, squeezing a run, just one run around, getting men in scoring position, maybe a pass ball will score a run. You know what I'm saying? And if you don't hit, you have to do everything else.
And I think this team, I don't know if you guys agree with this or not, the way it's structured, I thought this in spring training, this team needs to be fundamentally sound. All teams do. Some teams can overcome that, though. Right. This team needs to be fundamentally sound and, can't always rely on the 3-run home run. They're nice.
Well, but no, we can't rely on the 3-run home run anymore because it doesn't come on a consistent basis. What I would love to see is more runners in motion. I don't care who it is, more hit and runs.
Right.
Doesn't matter. If it's a Ryan Howard, what it does, a hit and run does, it just makes you stop thinking so much and just put the ball in play. And you'd be surprised on a hit and run how good of a swing you'll put on the ball and how you will drive it out of the ballpark.
Or because you don't want to hit it in the air.
Right. So you're coming down through it and you're staying through it.
Well, the offense will have one more chance. It'll be the bottom of the order against Craig Kimbrel, as Papelbon's trying to keep it a 3-2 ball game. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Pena. Every time the Phillies pitchers retire the opposition 1-2-3, which Diekman did in the 7th. Comcast will make a contribution to Phillies charities. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. And another foul ball.
Hitting's contagious, and it sure is. And I go back to that road trip where we beat the Braves 3 straight, and then went and won the first 2 in St. Louis. Just felt like we were going to score. Just everybody just felt like they were going to get some hits. You know what? Golfers can understand what I'm saying. Putting in golf is the hardest thing in the world. And you have no chance when you start believing the ball's not going to go in the hole. If you see a couple go in early, you start believing
having a good day.
Well, you start believing they're going to go in.
Yeah.
Those darn things go in. You think you hit a bad putt and it goes in.
Over the right side, Utley will throw out Pena. Side is retired, 1-2-3. So last chance for the Phils on this homestand. It'll have to come against Craig Kimbrell. He's blown 4 saves so far this year. Can he blow another one? We'll find out when we return.
This Sunday afternoon, and after this series is over, guys, Phils will have a day off tomorrow, then head to Miami for a 3-game series that starts on Tuesday. A.J. Burnett and Henderson Alvarez will pitch that first game. Then it's Cole Hamels and Tom Kohler in game number 2, and we know that Kyle Kendrick will pitch game number 3, a 6-10 start in Miami. Still waiting to find out who Miami will throw in that game. But guys, T-Mac, Matt, Mike, this one is not over yet. Send it back to you.
Murph, I love your optimism.
Yes.
34th ball game for Craig Kimbrell. Hope Murph, you got some sunblock on today, right? You're basking in the sun out there.
Got the sunblock on, always.
How's the crowd today? It looks like a good crowd.
It's a great crowd, and you know what? They're very into the game, which is a lot of fun. Scratching their heads at times. But over 33,000 fans, hoping that the Phils have at least 2 more runs in those bats with 3 outs to go, guys.
All right, so it will be Craig Kimbrell who will face Coy Hill, and then a pinch hitter. Looks like Cesar Hernandez. Time now for our WB Mason deliveries of the game. B.J. Upton's triple to center field.
Well, this ball was hit deep to center field, and Ben Rivera got turned around. Drove in Harang right there, and then all of a sudden Laird, the 4th inning RBI double. Does a nice job, man on second base. Get him over, get him in. Gives the thumbs up. He's happy that he did his job. That is your delivery of the game, brought to you by WB Mason.
All right, so Coy Hill will start things off. Phillies have Tony Gwynn, Cameron Rupp, Cesar Hernandez, and Andres Blanco on the bench. As Hill fouls the first one back, it's 0-1. And Hernandez will be the next hitter. Kimbrell, we say he's been kind of human this year because he's blown 4 saves, but his earned run average is still 2.30. And he has 55 strikeouts in 31 1/3 innings of work. Braves all-time leader in saves. And it's 0-2.
Yeah, that's for those people out there that might be wondering why we weren't taking a strike in that particular situation. No way. You just said that's why. 55 strikeouts in 30 innings. You're going to get not Uncle Charlie. You're going to get the Express. 2 strikes, you got to break a ball. But I mean, he's going to challenge you, and you might as well get to hacking.
And if not, what you just saw, he has a wicked slider.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
Phillies have not been swept in a 4-game series by the Braves here in Philadelphia since 1964 at Connie Mack Stadium. September of '64. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
It's a good take right there. Ooh.
Ground ball toward the hole, backhanded by Freeman. Kimbrel was a little late getting off the mound, but he recovered. And there's 1 away. Coming up after this ball game is Phillies post-game live. Ben Davis will not only talk about this game, but the 4-game series against the Braves and what's turned out to be another problematic homestand for the Phils. It's only on Cure Auto Insurance presents Phillies post-game live. Cesar Hernandez will have the task of trying to get on base against Kimbrel. Phillies need a base runner to put the tying run on base. Inside with a slider, 1 ball and no strikes.
That's one where you put your leg out and let it hit you. I've seen Pete Rose do that.
One ball, no strikes to Hernandez. Fly ball, shallow left center, Upton, Justin that is, 2 outs. Ben Revere is the last opportunity for the Phils to get the tying run aboard. Revere 2 for 4, 8 for 17 in this series. Phillies will go on a real long road trip, and during that time they'll contemplate the 18-26 record they have here at home, trying to get something going when they come back. Back toward the middle, a base hit for Revere. 2-out single, and now Jimmy Rollins. Rollins is 2 for 4. His first 4 at bats came against Aaron Harang.
I'll tell you, this is a good matchup right here. It reminds me a little of that Broxton matchup in the postseason.
Ooh, get one down a little bit for him.
Jimmy's a great fastball hitter. He's good in these kind of situations.
Well, he's got speed. We think as long as Revere's healthy, got speed at first. Rollins singled his last time, doubled the time before. And he hits that one out toward right center field. That's going to drop for a base hit. Upton playing no doubles defense, and Revere's already at third. First and third with 2 men down. There is a little life for the Phils here this afternoon. They certainly have had their share of base runners. Now they need to get a base hit with a runner in scoring position. Rollins 3 hits today. Revere 3 hits today.
Amazing to think their 1-2 hitters have 6 hits. Baseball can be that way. Can all change with one swing by Chase, of course, but 13 hits, 2 runs. There we go, harping on that whole.
I know. But when your 1 and 2 hitters have 6 hits in a game, you would think you'd have more than 2 runs.
Well, you would hope. Well, we could even go farther. That we have 13 hits. The 1-2 guys have 6 hits, but there's been 2 home runs in the game by 1 person.
Marlon Bird's 2 solo home runs, the only runs today for the Phillies. Thursday night, Chase Utley, he ended the ball game against the Marlins with 1 swing. Does he have that walk-off ability again today? I think Ryan Sandberg would just take the tying ball game up here, seeing what the bullpen could do. With 2 outs after a visit to the mound by Roger McDowell, Kimbrel will go to work with runners on first and third. Slider, and it's 0-1. Actually, it's listed as a curveball. I didn't even know he had a curveball.
Well, it's not a pitch Chase wants to swing at until he gets 2 strikes anyway you look at it. It's like facing Goose Gossage or Todd Worrell or somebody like that. I mean, it is fastball time.
99 on that fastball from Kimbrel. 0-2.
Might see Jimmy Rollins run right in this situation. No balls, 2 strikes. Try to draw a throw.
I don't think they'd throw.
No, I don't think so either.
Rollins goes. 0-2 is hit foul.
Would you pitch out now?
You could.
Not a bad call, but I think if you pitch out and you throw through.
Well, you have to pitch out. I mean, infielders have to know you're pitching out, and why not just pitch out? And then of course you could end up in the rundown.
I think that's what they want to stay away from. Especially when you got good speed at corners of the plate, or third and first.
Rollins goes again. 0-2 is in the dirt. No throw.
Yeah, there you go. Now the winning run's on second base. And by the way, I don't understand the whole idea of letting him take second base. I've only ever been in a game in my life where, as a visiting team, we would let the winning run take half second base. Not to mention the 3-hole hitter hitting on the other team.
Yeah, we're a base hit now with the outfielders back all the way around too. Although Upton just came in to step in center.
Gets a hit, the game's over.
Yep. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Runners on second and third. And the pitch. Fouls it away. It remains 1 ball and 2 strikes. With that stolen base, Rollins moves into second place all by himself. He just passed Ed Delahanty again. And he's closing in on Billy Hamilton.
That wasn't indifferent.
Nope.
Holding him on at first base.
Plus he's the winning run. 1-2 to Utley. Fly ball. Shallow right. Hayward says he has it. Estella's out too, and Hayward makes the catch. And the ball game is over, and the Braves, for the first time since 1964, nearly 50 years, they have swept a 4-game series from the Phillies in Philadelphia. They win it today by a final score of 3-2. The Phillies lead 2 more here in the 9th inning, 2 in scoring position. And they drop to 10 games under 500. Our Chevrolet player of the game, Aaron Harang, was able to get himself through 7 innings here this afternoon.
Yeah, and I don't think he had his best stuff tonight. He gave up 11 hits, 4 strikeouts, 2 walks. But he stayed away from that big inning. He didn't allow the big hit for the Phillies to come through. Made some quality pitches, getting some ground balls, some double plays right there. Got a lucky ground ball back to the middle for a double play with a 6-4-3. And that's why he's the player of the game, brought to you by Chevrolet.
So the Phillies lose it 3-2 as the Braves sweep this 4-game series. The Phillies finish 2-6 on this homestand. We'll be back to talk a little bit more about it right after this.